Welcome to World Class Bullshitters, the epitome of pop culture. I'm your host, Jeff Hicks, and with me tonight is the one, the only, Dion Green.
Baby, I have absolutely no problem kissing you on the mouth.
Up next, the last standing Samoa, Nick Udom.
I have a problem with it, okay? Don't fucking do that.
Yeah, I mean...
I'll kiss you on the mouth if I have to.
I mean, if you're here and you have to, I mean, I don't want it, but, you know, I guess I'll let it happen.
I'm going to watch either way.
It doesn't matter if you let it happen, god damn it.
Well, if Bill Cosby can get off with rape, Dion, I'm sure you can too.
The second less famous black dude to get away with rape. I'll take it.
So this is episode 77 of World Class Bullshitters. And ladies and gentlemen, 3 women and 3,800 dudes, welcome to the Twilight Zone. Because tonight we're going to talk about something I don't think we've ever said. We're going to talk about some superhero fatigue, and I got a really negative stance on it, but it's only because of this week and this week alone. Also, this has been a pretty crazy week in pop culture. We've had some good shit happen, some bad shit happen, but more importantly, we've had shit happen that we can talk about. So, before we get into that, a shout out to the listener of the week, Eric Ward. Eric, I loved your comments on our videos. I'm actually considering using the catchphrase you came up with for us, keeping things real in the nerd universe. And if people seem to like it, we'll use it on the show and put it on a t-shirt. And if it sells 4 shirts, you get a free one. So thank you, Eric Ward. Also, big shout out to our friends over on the Fancast. If you don't know what the Fancast is, what the fuck are you doing, all right? The Fancast is the podcast about World Class Bullshitters, which is already a podcast. So it's like Inception. It's done by Brian Lape and Kendo Slice and Liquid Metal Pro. They're 3 great guys. They got a lot of insight. They're really funny. And it's a nice companion piece to this channel because thousands of people have been coming to this channel and talking a lot of shit, which doesn't bother me, but they're just misguided. If you listen to that show at this, you'll understand everything that's going on. Special shout out to those guys. Also, special shout out to our Patreon members. If you're a patron of the $25 and up class, which we have multiples of at this point, I've contacted a printer. We're looking into getting posters printed officially, and then in the next month, the t-shirts will go out. So don't worry, we got everything taken care of, and I'll have those designs on Facebook for you to vote on. All right, now it's time for the news, because next week it's irrelevant. Now, without Curtis, Dustin, Cuck, and McNeese here, I have to take over the news. So you guys ready?
Yep.
Hit me, baby.
So we're going to start out big tonight, because most people that listen to this show that aren't normal subscribers have no attention span. So, let's talk about the drama surrounding the young Han Solo movie. Yesterday, we learned that 21 Jump Street directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller have left the film due to creative differences. I feel like it's more ideological differences, but we'll see in the final product. And now today, we have learned that Ron Howard himself, Richard Cunningham, has picked up the director's duties. So I got 2 questions for you guys. What do you think about this, and how do you think the film will be affected?
Well, I think the only reason I kind of stepped in here is because a couple episodes ago we talked about fixing or somehow, I guess, going forward with Star Wars. My suggestion was getting a big-time director. Specifically, my suggestion was Spielberg, I believe. But for me, as much as I've been giving this franchise shit, I know Jeff and I have been pretty tough, so to speak, on Star Wars. You know, Ron Howard, I'm a huge Ron Howard fan. If now, don't get me wrong, I am never going to say this is going to save this fucking money-grabbing franchise, but that being said, if you ever want to show that you're trying to make a franchise matter, this is it, man. I mean, I can see at least effort going into trying to get away from J.J. Abrams and his bullshit and staying more towards Rogue Squadron.
Nick?
Yeah, I get that, but like, why didn't they get him first? Like, why after, you know, the 2 guys who have made, you know, these kind of buddy comedy movies, they go to Ron Howard, who does a lot of dramas and documentaries and things. Why did they, you know, tap him first? You know, that's my thing. And I mean, like, and it is a giant money grab, and I just don't, I honestly don't care anymore about these movies. I just don't. I always thought the Han Solo movie was a bad idea. As soon as they said, you know, oh, his name is not his name, it's a distinction or a rank or some bullshit, I was like, nope, I can't do this. I cannot do this anymore because I've actually been watching I've been watching all the Star Wars this week just because I haven't seen them in a long time, and everything's there. You don't need anything more. Everything is there. To give him a backstory, I think, is to do the character damage. I think keeping him, the way he is in the 3 movies with his character, all the information we have about him, even though it's very little, is fine. You don't need much about him, and I don't really want to know more about him. It's good. And this movie, I think, was a mistake from the start, and I've just never really thought it was good.
Well, to kind of, I guess. Yeah, I don't think any of us disagree on that. The only thing I would say about that is if there is a list of directors that understand what you just said, Nick, Ron Howard's on it.
I hope you're right. I hope it does.
I do too. I hope I'm right too, but goddamn, I don't know. I don't know, man.
I pulled up the list of Ron Howard's movies just for the hell of it because we've all seen Ron Howard movies, and I'm going to read off some of the more famous ones. So he did A Beautiful Mind, which was a good-ass movie. Yes. He did The Da Vinci Code, which I liked, and I even liked Angels and Demons. Call me an asshole, but whatever. He did Apollo 13.
They're decent movies. They're very mystery-driven movies, and they're good. I like them.
He did Splash. He did Cocoon. Now here's a movie that everyone is citing on these internet articles about him directing this Han Solo movie. Willow. I fucking hate that movie.
I do too. I fucking hate Willow a lot.
Yeah, I think the vast majority of people that have a brain and eyes don't like that movie.
I just remember seeing it as a little kid. My mom. I had a Willow bowl, for cereal. It was a little bowl, and it had, yellow and blue font with, pictures of the characters painted on it. I hated that bowl. I hated that fucking movie. Sorry, Warwick Davis. Fuck you. But he also... back to Ron Howard. He also directed Frost Nixon, Cinderella Man, Backdraft, and Ransom. Those are all really solid movies.
Ooh.
Yeah, fantastic.
I completely forgot about Frost Nixon. I love that movie.
He also directed Ed TV, and is he directing The Dark Tower?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I don't know if he's doing Dark Tower now because it's coming out in August. I think that month. Oh, maybe he did do it actually. I don't know.
The thing is,
He'd be done directing it, obviously. So they're more than done with the movie.
I just typed in Ron Howard films and that popped up. Nicolaj Arcel is directing it. But I'm just saying these are the movies that popped up when I typed in Ron Howard films. So maybe this is a mix of what he's doing.
He's done a good job. All the movies you said I've seen and I like. So. I have no problem with them, and the thing is that they're all varying tones. A couple period pieces here and there, but they're all varying tones.
Well, what I want to ask you guys too, I didn't write this down on my notes, is so I put out that Han Solo video the other day talking about Kathleen Kennedy and her agenda-driven Star Wars. With a name like Ron Howard, who's one of the A-list directors in Hollywood, one of the biggest of all time, honestly. If we're going to talk breadth of work and quality and success and all this. I don't know if he's ever won an Oscar, but I'm sure his shit's been nominated. But do you think that he's almost too strong of a voice for Lucasfilm, that they actually can't push him around? Because let's be honest, this is the biggest name to ever direct a Star Wars film, because when George Lucas directed it, he was a nobody.
Yeah.
Irvin Kershner really wasn't a big name. Neither was Richard Marquand. Prequels, George Lucas was only known for Star Wars. He did that again. And yes, J.J. Abrams is a big name. I don't like the guy, but he's made some hits. But Ron Howard has had a 50-year career, 60 years. Wasn't he? He was on Andy Griffith back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't know how old he was on the show. My point is, he started out as a child actor, he became a director, and he's been directing shit for 30 years. Has there been a bigger name attached to Star Wars directing-wise? And do you think that Lucasfilm's going to push him around? Or do you think he's at a point where he just wants a check and doesn't give a fuck?
Well, I think that this being an anthology movie, they're giving him more room, I would think. Obviously, everything that went with Gareth Evans in Rogue Squadron, I think they not only understand, but probably are a little bit more loose with house money, with it being an anthology. So I think if he were doing Episode 8, I think he might be too big, right? Because that's part of the new era trilogy, whatever the fuck they're calling it. They wouldn't be so willing to let him do his thing. But seeing as this is probably going to be a one-off, it's a little different. And going back to my reference of our previous fixing Star Wars, no, I don't think that it's too big. I think at this point, the novelty of Episode 7, even if you think it's a great movie, no one can argue that Episode 7 is this great film anymore. You just can't do it anymore. You don't have the backing anymore to say so because the novelty's worn off. It's, the fact that we're 2 years removed from it being released and it's still not a thing. It's not a thing anymore. The fact that as far as people watching it, they're not talking about it as much. Rogue. Even if you were to somehow argue that point, Rogue Squadron kind of erased that whole thing. So I don't know. I don't think that he's too big. I think now, at least for the anthology, they recognize, we need someone who knows what the fuck they're doing.
No, I mean, do you think he's too big to be pushed around? Meaning, if Kathleen Kennedy said to him and said, "This is what we want to do with the Han Solo character," and Ron Howard says, "No, that's not what the character is and has been established as in the past," do you think that he's too big to be pushed around by them? Like, if they want to make the movie...
Oh, yeah, no.
Definitely.
Now, I'm worried because Ron Howard movies have a lot of heart, per se, and Miller and Lord have, the comedy chops. I'm not saying everything Star Wars needs to be funny nowadays, but Han Solo is an inherently funny character. I'd argue he's the funniest character in the original trilogy. He's got the best jokes. I think he has, the only jokes, really. I mean...
Well, I think you're mixing funny with charismatic, and I think that they... And again, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I think that they realized we want charismatic, not funny. We want a charismatic hero, not a goddamn comedian. And I think that is a little bit what factored into their decision as far as who's going to direct this movie. Because, Ron Howard knows how to have funny movies in good films. Or, funny moments in good films. And I think, as funny as Han Solo was, he's charismatic in the fact that he has a lot of fucking depth going on. He's still trying to be the smuggler, but he's trying to connect with this kid who wants to do the right thing. Then he's doing the right thing, and he's trying to get to a point where his old life is done, and it catches up with him. Then he's done, and he's still trying to get his girl as well as save the fucking galaxy. Normal people can't deal with that shit. That's a charismatic person who can shoulder all that shit. And having two motherfuckers who do funny movies don't understand that. And I think someone like Ron Howard completely understands that. I think I wouldn't say he does now, not seeing the film. I think he has a better chance of understanding that than the two motherfuckers who were up to the plate before.
Here's the thing with me liking the other guys more, per se, is look at the relationship between Schmidt and Janko in 21 and 22 Jump Street. They felt like real friends that grew. Han and Lando need that for this movie because from what I don't really need a young Han Solo movie. To me, I didn't even need the Star Wars prequels. I grew up as a Star Wars fan before they ever came out in the 90s. You could have been a Star Wars fan before the prequels. The internet tells you differently. No, Dion, you and I both were Star Wars fans years before the prequels came out. We had all the toys and the video games and shit, not a fucking Anakin Skywalker or a Qui-Gon Jinn or a Darth Maul in sight. It was the original characters.
According to those assholes online, we're not real Star Wars fans, apparently.
They're assholes. But what I wanted to get across is, I don't need this movie. But if you're going to build the relationship of Han and Lando, I think there needs to be some level of comedic scoundrelness, because the first thing he says to Lando is you no good, whatever he says, grimy smuggler, you old swindler, you, and they fake a joke. There's got to be some kind of thing there. It can't be like a Fast and the Furious, oh, we're family type of relationship. It's kind of got to be like you and me. Honestly.
Well, no, actually, okay,
right? I get that.
It could be Fast and Furious because there was a spaceship race, for the Millennium Falcon. So So I'm just saying, they could have raced for pinks, and then Han won, and he's like, but we're family. Lando, we're family.
Do you think that this whole movie is going to essentially be Han and Chewbacca are either already friends or how they become friends? Lando's involved. Han gets the Falcon and does the Kessel Run. Do you think that's the whole depth of the film? They're basically making a...
I think it changed. I think the whole thing changed with Ron Howard. I think originally they went with the guys from 21. And again, I'm not saying that they're horrible. I don't want the perception to be that I thought that they were a bad choice. I just think that you reference their scene.
they're a different choice. It's a different way of looking at it. Is all it is.
Right. I think that you reference a part in the film. Han and Lando have less than half. They have maybe a quarter of the film together. So I think if you want someone to do an entire film of that quarter of a film relationship, I don't know if the dudes from 21 Jump Street are together. And again, a comedy's different than a space fantasy. But I think that if you really want to capture that last quarter of the film relationship, I'd feel more comfortable with someone like Ron Howard than I would someone who's done a comedy movie. And again, I don't know for sure. I can't say for sure, but I think that I think the whole idea of the film changed with Ron Howard. I think originally it was going to be more of a buddy movie, and then with Ron Howard, it's going to be like, hey, instead of focusing on Hondo.
Just call him Hondo. That's the couple's name. There's J-Rod and Hondo.
His new designation is Hondo on the show. But I think before it was going to be, Han and Chewie and Lando, and now with Ron Howard, it's going to be about Han, and he meets this character named Chewie, and then he meets this character named Lando, and I think it's going to be a way different movie than they originally envisioned.
Well, we got to take into account, Dion, that this film has been filming for 6 months. It comes out in less than a year. This isn't like Ron Howard's taking over a script and then you're going to shoot it. This movie's been shot for months. Like, this is like a Justice League scenario with Zack Snyder and what's his fucking face? The bald gay guy. Joss Whedon. Oh. He's not really gay, but he is really bald. But the point is, like, he's just taken over what's there.
So then what we're looking at is him looking through all the footage and then through the script and then deciding reshoots is what's going to happen.
Pretty much.
Because that's what's happening with Justice League, and that's what's going to happen with this now. And honestly, like, I'm kind of, like, I know, like, his daughter died and, this, that, and the other, and that's fine. But, I mean, for DC's already in the shit, and they're gonna pour more money into this fucking movie. I mean, that's idiotic. And then I know Disney's got unlimited funds, and that's fine, but it looks bad. especially when directors get fired for creative differences, air quotes. It looks bad.
I think Star Wars is gonna wear itself out quicker than people realize, because the old guys that are the ones that are crying about it on the internet, the people that grew up with it, like us. I guess I'll include us, Dion, you, me. Like, we're going to only go so far. And then the younger generation just doesn't give a fuck about it. Like,
right.
Here's something. If you weren't going to show D2 Star Wars, he's not really going to find it on his own anymore, because it's not this seminal thing. It's become something else, and it's a bad something else. Like, the prequels had tarnished its legacy, and now the quick turnover of Episode 7 and Rogue One, and then soon to be Episode 8 and this, like, there's nothing to, like, savor anymore. It's just quick bites that people digest and forget about, and the impact is going to be gone. And down the road, Disney's already made their money back. That's great, but it's not a milkable franchise forever. I say within a few years, and I'm talking, like, before Trump's not president after a second term, like, Star Wars fatigue will already set in. Because look at the Marvel movies.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
We're at year 9, and we're getting to a point where it's like, okay, this is too much.
Yeah, it's like, wrap it up already.
Yeah, with Star Wars, so many people are on the fence in so many ways. Like, I think the story ended fucking in 1983. You may say the story ended in 2005. Nick may say the story ended in 1977. There's just, there's different places to take it from. You know what? I'll be the one that says the story
ended where I say it fucking ends, okay?
It ends now! So, Nick, going back and watching through the Star Wars movies this past week, which is your favorite?
Ooh, I still got to go with the original. I still love it. It's complete and it works. The other ones are good. I do love them, and I appreciate the hell out of them. And they are, I mean, you can tell. I mean, yeah, it's a complete saga, and even at the end of Return of the Jedi, like, Luke is still not done with training. Like, you just know he's not. Yeah, he beat his dad, and it was like, even that fight at the end is just like, it's basically him. It seems like he was using the Force to, like, pierce through his dad's, like, dark side and get into the good part, and try to convince him to be like, hey man, we're cool. Don't worry. Even though you weren't there for most of my childhood, I still love you. And that's what it feels like. And
then Darth Vader goes,
no. And that was the the light side bursting forth, like an alien in your chest. But yeah, I mean I get it, and and because even then he's not done this with his training. Like Yoda says it and everything. It's like it's not done. Yeah, you made your own lightsaber. That's all well and good, but that don't mean shit.
well, Yoda does say once you defeat Darth Vader, your training's complete.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's his trial or whatever.
His trial. All right.
Before there were Jedi trials.
True, but yeah, I mean, I love them in their complete movies, and it's just they're just good. They're really good, and I really hate the new ones.
Yeah, and they're just going to continue to tarnish the legacy. I know if Curtis Slendenfield was here, he'd be like, "They don't tarnish the legacy. Everything's great."
Oh, Curtis, go suck a dick like you always do.
Oh, I'm just
Yeah, I know.
So I guess we've pretty much covered everything there is on the Star Wars topic, so let's move on to the next thing, which is also Star Wars related. It came out this week that Carrie Fisher had cocaine and other substances in her body when she died. Are you guys even surprised?
Hell no.
No.
She was struggling with that shit since we were fucking kids. It does not surprise me one bit.
Before we were born, dude.
Yeah, well, way before. Way before.
Yeah, and I mean, like, she did a whole stand-up thing about, I think she wrote a book about it that was, her life, and then she did a stand-up thing where she pretty much said, it's like, I have clinical depression. And I remember watching it a couple times, and towards the end of it, or some part of it, she said, every month or so, I have to go to a doctor's office, get put under, and they use electroshock therapy on me. And apparently it removes, like, a small, like, amount of your memory, but you're at least a functioning human being.
Is that why she's not on the podcast this week? That was fucked up. Sorry.
Damn. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like as far as I see, it's somebody's business about that. Like what's in her system, the autopsy report. Like nobody has to release that. Honestly, like that can be kept private. But I'm not surprised that they find ecstasy, cocaine, and other things in there. Like it doesn't at all surprise me.
To me, it's not a big deal because if you followed Star Wars outside of like, oh, she's my princess and I watch her on TV, like if you followed any of the actors, you knew Carrie Fisher had a cocaine problem. She was fucking Harrison Ford. Like she was a lot of fun. All right, if you caught her when she was young, she would have been like the ideal girlfriend. She would have blew you, did a line.
Yes.
Like she would have been awesome. And that's how I remember Carrie Fisher, though I never met her personally. Like that's how I perceived her. Not this angelic figure that wore a white dress and fought the Empire. No, she was doing coke with Paul Simon.
I did have her sign like Princess Leia figure once at Dragon Con, and she was super super nice. I did joke about her comedy thing, and she's like, she really appreciated that I watched that, and I was like, you were wonderful in it, and I got what you were saying, and she's like, thank you, it really means a lot that fans actually know that I'm more than just Princess Leia. I'm like, you are, you're an actual person.
I would have complimented her on having the same birthday as me. That would have been our moment to bond.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, like for the 5 minutes of it,
to a line real quick.
She would have brought you behind the curtains. Like, how about I blow you into a line? Like, can that happen? Like, yeah, let's do this.
Okay.
I would have definitely gone for that. That would have been weird. Because she's older than my mom. She's also dead now. But my point is, back then I would have been like, all right, Carrie Fisher, let's make this happen.
I got blown by Princess Leia. Goddamn right I did.
I would talk about that every week on the podcast.
You and Harrison Ford are wiener cousins.
Oh my god, I gotta take a timestamp. That is an awesome fucking
yes.
quote.
Yes, we are using that now. You and Harrison Ford are wiener cousins.
Oh, poor laddie. You had your line used against you. Yeah,
I mean, it's true.
It's true. We would have been wiener cousins. I would have met Harrison Ford at some thing in the future, like, hey, Jeff Hicks, a world-class bullshitters. In 2014, Carrie Fisher blew me, so we're wiener cousins, bro. And he would have just looked at me, and he would have just walked away.
Yeah, he would have been like, all right.
Or he just would have been like, fuck. and then walked away.
I would have laughed if he would have like asked me questions about it. I would have been like, "Yeah, sure, man. I'll tell you details." It was awkward.
Does she still rub your teeth against the head? You'd have been like, "Yep."
And she tried to stick a finger in my ass, but I said I don't go for that. But she said you do though.
No.
No can do. So we're all gamers. Did you guys hear about the Atari box?
Yeah.
Vaguely.
So, for the listeners out there that don't know what the Atari box is, this came from thegamer.com. A small website popped up on Friday with a 20-second long embedded YouTube video, several email links, and that's it. The video shows a close-up angled shot of a wood-grain plastic slotted device, nothing determining the size or dimensions, and abruptly ends with the Atari logo and the message coming soon. If this is a big if this is Atari's foray back into the gaming world, and it has a stellar lineup, would you give them a chance?
Seeing as how much Nintendo's been fucking up, I would.
I love my PS4 too much, and I don't want to spend more money on something that's going to just be the old shitty games, from back then. It's like, I don't care. I'm
no,
fine
what I'm
with my
asking is,
PS4.
what if it's a new console that's going to get like Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto, and it's going to like blow us away?
But it's just another console to play Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto. I can play Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto on my PS4. It doesn't really make a difference to me at that point.
If it's cool, I might check it out. But
like it has to really blow me away and really be something amazing for them to do it. And I mean, I don't know why the fuck Atari is like all of a sudden getting back into it now. It's like you've had 20 years or longer to do this, and now you're doing it. When I guess Nintendo's fucking up, you're like, oh, but we're gonna pick up that market. And all your your entire fan base is probably 40 years old now. Good for you.
Hey, that's the fan base that spends money.
But on Atari,
nostalgia is strong.
Oh God, that's true. And I mean, the thing is that you can buy those really shitty little joysticks that you buy at Walgreens that you can plug into the TV and play all their games on on that device. They should have done things like, there's their console to sell for $8.99 at Walgreens. They'll be fine.
$8.99. You can't give an action figure for that price. Oh, okay. So up next, Godzilla, King of the Monsters is the official title to the sequel to the 24. Let me redo that one. Godzilla, King of the Monsters is the official sequel title for the 2014 film, and now we have a synopsis. This comes from the AV Club. The new story follows the heroic efforts of the cryptozoological agency Monarch as its members faces off against a battery of god-sized monsters, including the mighty Godzilla, who collides with Mothra, Rodan, and his ultimate nemesis, the three-headed King Ghidorah.
I'm so fucking excited for this movie. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm so fucking excited. God damn it.
There's only one more sentence. Hold on. When these ancient super species, thought to be mere myth, rise again, they all vie for supremacy, leaving humanity's very existence hanging in the balance. And now, Dion, clean up your jizz and tell me what you think.
Dude, I am so I was like, okay, I'm gonna. You know that I'm excited because I keep saying and you know that
Take
about.
Take a breather, white girl.
I know. Okay. Okay. 1, fucking the title, love it. 2, to see these movies actually be well made as opposed to what they were before. Holy shit, I can't wait. 3, I love that that the view of what's happening in this universe is from these researchers. I fucking love that it's just okay, well, we're witnessing Kong, and then oh shit, there's a hollow earth, bro. And fucking crazy shit's happening. Oh, John Goodman's dead? Well, here's some more monsters that we found. Like that, I can't fucking wait, man. I got a boner just talking about it.
Yeah, because you're talking about I guess the whole agency thing of monsters started with Kong Skull Island, correct?
I think Monarch was in the first Godzilla. They just talk about it, right?
Well, yeah, I'm talking about the agency in general, the people who are I guess looking for the monster.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. Okay, so that started in Kong Skull Island. Okay, so that makes me happy because you're starting it from a retro standpoint in the 40s, or sorry, no, in the 60s or 70s. Sorry, 70s.
It's
yeah,
right after Vietnam. It's right.
Okay,
after
so
Vietnam.
yeah. So 70s. So that makes me happy because you have so much time to build up this agency and see them, get more stuff, get weird, maybe get weird devices, and things and ways of catching monsters, and then the monsters are almost unlimited because you can go to dragons, you can go to mythical things. Hell, you can even go to aliens if you really wanted to. There's a plethora of
All
things you can do.
Are in the original characters. What?
Do you think they'll go to Planet X, or they'll have the guys from Planet X come here?
I do. I think because I guess apparently the speaks, so to speak, were that they were waiting. They were gauging the reaction from the American Godzilla movie and then the Japanese Godzilla movie that came out after that. They were like, okay, well, people love these movies. We'll do a fucking franchise since the franchise thing is in right now. And then they did Kong, and they're like, okay, so they've been like planning this. Okay, so people are still interested in this. It's different. People. This brought back up the original Godzilla, I guess, anthology, so to speak. I mean, fuck, man. I feel like this shit is not. I wouldn't say Marvel level planning, but it's goddamn. It's. I'd say second. It's a close ass second. Man. It's a close fucking second.
It's just it's good filmmaking replicated multiple times. I don't think when they made the first, because are there Easter eggs in that Godzilla that hint at a King Kong crossover? I don't think so.
At the very end of Kong, right after the trailer, they do when Loki, Tom Hiddleston and what's her name,
Brie Larson
reconnected the end. Yes, Brie Larson.
No, Dion. I'm talking about in Godzilla from 2014. In no way did they plan to make that crossover.
It's not. That's a different. That's not part of the universe they're going to make. That's going to be this Godzilla coming up. I think it's going to be a whole different Godzilla.
No, it's a sequel. No, it's a sequel to the 2014 one with Bryan Cranston. It's a sequel to that. That Godzilla is going to appear with the King Kong from Kong Skull Island. Like, they're all tied together. It's all Warner Brothers Legendary Pictures.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is a sequel to Godzilla 2014.
I read it was a whole separate universe. Son of a bitch.
So he already fought the Mutos or whatever they were called with Ken Watanabe, narrating the whole thing. I love Godzilla 2014. I
love that movie too. I think the final battle was awesome. The only thing I'd say is 2014 is when they first see Godzilla. And then, well, I guess I should say the world sees him. I guess Japan knew about it because that's where Ken Watabe's character comes in. So where are they going to have so are they going to it's got to be post 2014 then, right?
Yeah.
So King Kong is going to be over 40 years old when he fights. God damn, dude. I don't know. I don't even fucking know. This universe right now is already spanning 40 plus years, man. What the fuck? Like, Godzilla fans, especially those who are watching or listening to our show or watching our show, I don't judge you, but holy shit, man. Minds are being butt fucked right now. That's crazy. I thought it was a different universe. You just changed my life.
Yeah, dude, it's the sequel. It's okay on their Wikipedia page. It says Godzilla, King of the Monsters, also known as Godzilla 2, is an upcoming 2019 American science fiction monster film produced by Legendary Pictures, and the third entry in the MonsterVerse, following King Kong or Kong Skull Island. It will be released in American theaters on March 22nd of 2019.
Oh.
Dude.
So then I need to watch Godzilla 2014 then.
And it stars.
It's really good.
Listen, Ken Watanabe, he's back.
Yep.
Millie Bobby Brown, so 11 from Stranger Things, that feels forced. Kyle Chandler, Vera Farmiga, O'Shea Jackson Jr., which is Ice Cube's kid.
Nice.
Charles Dance.
Whoa.
Yeah. And a few other names we don't know. Bradley Whitford, which is the guy from Billy Madison and Cabin in the Woods. And Zhang Ziyi, who used to be really hot.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, so... And it's going to be directed by a guy named Michael Dougherty. So that... I'm glad you're more
Wait. Michael Dougherty? He did Trick or Treat.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, yeah, he did Trick or Treat, so I'm pretty sure that's him.
He's from Columbus, Ohio. Oh, he also did Krampus, which was an awesome movie.
Yeah.
Loudy hates that movie. Fuck you, Loudy.
Well, Loudy's allowed to have bad taste. It's fine.
No. So speaking of movies, Dion, you just mentioned about how the Kong Godzilla movies take place over a span of 40 years. Do you know what happened 33 years ago today?
I feel like I read this morning. I don't know. What was it?
The Karate Kid debuted in theaters. You guys like that movie?
I love that movie. Sweep the leg, Jeff. Sweep the leg.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched the first one a couple times, and that's a bit about it. I haven't watched 2 or 3, but from what I hear, 2 and 3 are like good bad movies. Like they're okay.
2 is garbage. 2 I think is comparable to 1. I think it's very underrated. I love 2, especially where it's like you got rapist Japanese children running around trying to fight him, and you're just like, fuck that kid up, Daniel. God damn. Fuck that
Can we all agree that Part 4 sucks, even though you've never seen it, Nick?
Yeah, because I remember seeing commercials about it, way back in the day, and I was like, "What? What? Did Danielson die? Is this his?
No, he
his daughter?
He just sign on to the 4th one, I think. Right? He just refused to sign on to it.
He was so old by that time.
Yeah.
Well, he was old in Part 3.
Explain.
Yeah, because I think in Part 3 he was almost 30, right?
Yeah, he had to be. Because he just looks like a little boy, but he's not. He's like Emmanuel Lewis, a.k.a. Webster.
Yeah.
He's 55 years old nowadays.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I've seen him recently. He looks good. Like, he looks amazing.
He was at the Republican National Convention. He still looked pretty good. I was like, all right, Daniel, son, I see you, son.
Yeah, like, he looks 40. He doesn't look 55 at all.
I see you, son.
Nick, you mentioned you've seen the movie a couple times. I've seen the first movie like 40 or 50 times. I really like The Karate Kid. Only because it's always on Netflix or Hulu, and it's one of those.
Well, all 3. Well, no. I just recently looked through Hulu, and all 3 of them are on there right now.
And if you have a jailbroken Fire Stick Pro, you can also watch them anytime you want.
Oh fuck!
Shit, man, I've made my own. I can watch them right now.
Now, speaking of anniversaries, this past week we had a very infamous anniversary. A little film titled Batman and Robin came out in theaters 20 years ago this week.
Yep.
I saw it opening weekend, I think.
You poor son of a bitch.
Hey, I wanted to see it because Batman Forever was amazing, and I thought this was going to be just as good.
Yeah, well, I remember dragging my mom to it. She's like, "Fine, I'll take you kids." And she took me, my brother, and my cousin to go see it. And I think she fell asleep in the movie.
Your poor mom. Do you guys think this is the worst Batman film?
I'm really fighting not to put Batman vs Superman up there. Like, I enjoyed Batman and Robin way more than I did Batman vs Superman. I mean, I'm not even trying on a joke right now. I'm really struggling to figure out why Batman vs Superman is better than Batman and Robin. I really am.
Yeah, because after doing that drunk commentary, I've been scarred by that fucking movie. So it's like, to me, that is like that. Like, anyone's like, "Oh, Batman movie, which one's the worst?" Like, that one. I agree with you, Dion. Like, that one is just like, no. And then you have like Wonder Woman randomly coming up in the end, and it's like you have fucking Joker / Lex Luthor. Like, I don't. It was horrible. It was fucking horrible.
We brought it up on the show when we watched the goddamn trailer, and I remember just like, and it's funny that it's the 3 of us on this episode, but I remember the 3 of us, all of us, getting really pissed that they showed Doomsday at the end of the trailer, and then they show the big 3, so to speak, at the end, and we're just like, why would you title it Batman vs Superman? Like, Batman and Robin didn't make that mistake. They didn't show Batgirl at the end of the fucking trailer. They weren't like, hey, it's Batman and Robin. Just kidding. It's Batman, Robin, and Batgirl. Like, they didn't do that shit. Like, I specifically remember being like, why would you show us Doomsday? Why wouldn't Doomsday be a surprise? Oh my God, Zack Snyder, go fuck yourself.
Dude, I've always been of the mindset that Batman Returns is the worst Batman movie. I love Michael Keaton, but I can't watch that movie.
I love Batman Returns, man. It's so goddamn randomly dark. Like it's just like, why are you trying to drown children right now, Tim? What the
dude? Yeah, it's such a, like it's very Tim Burton-esque, and I kind of like enjoy him in those early days when he did those things. It's fine, and it's funny because like you see what's his name? Fucking Christopher Walken dressed as Jack Skellington in that movie. It's really fucking weird.
Max Shrek.
It is.
Yeah. Like he like the outfit he has on is just that exact same outfit. It's fucking weird.
Well, look, there are moments in that movie that I enjoy, but overall, what I don't even mind the random darkness. I don't like how it feels so set bound and small, and they made all these changes from the first movie. It doesn't feel like a continuation of the story. It feels like Tim Burton was just given the keys to the castle, and he made something completely different.
You mean he Tim Burtoned it?
You mean he wiped his dick all over it?
Yes. Well, I always feel like when visionary directors have a fucking handler or someone above them to rein them in, that's when they make their best work. Like George Lucas on the original Star Wars. He had a producer that's like, no, dude, you can't do that. It makes no fucking sense. Luke Skywalker can't be a midget. Han Solo can't have green gills. Like, somebody grounded him in reality, and it made him better.
Lucas, it's going to cost the film so fucking much more. Just do it with normal-sized people. Just do it with a bunch of white dudes. It'll be fine. And
it turned out great. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. And with Batman Returns, like, I love Batman '89. Is it my favorite Batman movie? I'm hard pressed to say it's not, but I'm hard pressed to say it is.
It's top 3 for sure for me. Like, it's top 3.
It's tied at number 1 between that or Batman Begins. I can't decide which I like more. Like,
that's rightful. Equally. That's rightful. You know, for me, it's easily one of my top 2 for sure.
But just Returns was so different, and then Forever came out, and I love Batman Forever. To me, as a kid, that was my favorite movie for like a year. Like if you would have asked me in 1995 and 1996, the beginning of
Val Kilmer, R.I.P.
He ain't dead yet.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
No, he's not dead, but he probably should have killed himself by now.
Well, no, he can't because he's doing Top Gun 2 with Tom Cruise.
Again, I reiterate, he should have killed himself by now, Nick.
You're right.
You got dark for a minute, Dion. Like you went from chocolate to burnt toast.
We were talking about Batman Returns, man. I gotta randomly get dark where you don't expect it. Batman Returns,
and also let's remember the song associated with this movie that was fucking iconic as shit. If you play like the first 3 seconds of that song, everybody knows what the hell it is.
What? Kiss from a Rose?
Kiss from a Rose. Yeah.
That song was awesome.
God damn.
I still have a cassette of it.
How would you feel? How would you feel if you were Seal and you realize that by far your best song, no one remembers you as in the song? They immediately think of Batman. Like you're like, God, like what the fuck do I gotta do? I have a fucked up face. I had a pretty European white woman as my wife. And then no one remembers me with my one song. What the fuck?
My legacy is Val Kilmer. Dude, even you brought up a point about people associated with Batman. In the lyrics when he goes, baby, I always scream out Batman. So my lyrics are Batman. Some kiss from a rose on the grave. And every time I think of the song, when I hear the end of it, I think of something, because the commercial used to go like something forever, Batman forever. So in my mind, whenever I hear that song, like the narrator from that old commercial is like Batman forever.
God. Well, also after the movie came out, or like around the time the movie came out, and even afterwards, when I would go to school in the morning, our local radio station for some reason decided to play that at like 7:34 in the morning every time we left for school. Every time. I was like, "What, dude? It's too early for this music. All right, like play this like at 8:30 on a Friday. Why would everybody's going to school? You fucking play this shit.
You should play it when you're about to bang.
Yeah, exactly. Not when you're about to go to the 3rd grade. Come on, that's
like
weird.
As soon as you're about to tell this girl you love her, you play her that song, and you assure her that it's not about cocaine usage, and then you go for
it. Baby, I swear, I know what you're thinking. I'm not talking about us doing lines together, but let's fuck.
Do you remember on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Dion, when Sweet D sang that song?
Yeah, baby!
And then she gets hit by the fucking garbage can.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn it!
That's a great fucking.
I'm your real Desert Rose.
Oh, God.
Artemis and her bleached asshole. She looked like a grape.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's a great episode.
It's a great series. Nick, you need to get into that, man.
I'm gonna try to here soon. I really am.
If you think the first 6 episodes are shitty, just trust me. Watch the second season. If you have to, just watch from season 2 on, because the first season's really not that important. There's no Danny DeVito, and the show kind of is way different. But when season 2 hits, you get great episodes. 3 is the best season. 4 is great, and it just continues to get good.
All right, I will. From your recommendation.
Then when you see the dad from seventh heaven is their real dad, just text us and say thank you. And that's
and also that dad was like a rapist as well. Like apparently he.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
there's so many layers in that episode now.
Yeah, like he sexually assaulted like one of the girls in that show, and I was like, damn, dude, like he apologized for it and everything.
But I hope it was Jessica Biel.
No, it was
the little boy.
It wasn't the little boy. It was like the younger sister or whatever.
God damn.
Yeah, dude. It was a little crazy. It was a little nuts. But that's what he did. But no, I mean, I'll start from season 2, and try to
so
watch
many good seasons.
Well, because I've seen snippets of the show, and my thing is always like these people are fucking retarded. And I don't know if I can handle that much stupidity. In a TV show.
It works out. It's like a live version of The Simpsons. It's so good. It's so fucking hilarious. Like, I can't even put it to words enough to make you want to do it more, because it's just, like, you don't need... Every character is either funny or has a funny enough part where they make, like, you want them to be in the show more. Then obviously you have the main characters, and then Frank just, like, literally tries... I love that show so much. God damn it.
Nick, there's an episode where he's wearing a cock ring and it drops off and he asks his daughter to pick it up for him. He's like, my cinch fell off. She's like, I am not touching my father's penis ring.
Oh my God.
Oh, there's an episode, Nick, where fucking the dude who played Lex Luthor in Smallville, Michael Rosenbaum's in it. He just has a fucking gun. And he's like, and they think that he robbed the fucking bar. And they're just like, yeah, man, like, we don't even go there. We're not even there right now. It's completely open. And he goes, you should get a gun. I always have one on me. And the look between fucking Charlie and Mac, where they realize this dude's going to be carrying a gun, is so... That look alone is hilarious. He's just like, yeah, you should always carry a gun. I have mine on me all the time. And it's fucking hilarious. Because he's dating Dee at the time. Oh, my God. I love that episode, too.
Dude, the North Korea one's amazing. See, this karaoke bar opens up, and they're trying to steal their beer recipe. And they're enriching this with something. So Sweet Dee goes undercover and attempts to bribe these guys for it. So the guy's like, I'll give you the recipe if you sleep with me. So she sleeps with this dirty Asian dude that's missing his teeth. He's like a 60-year-old dishwasher. And then at the end of the episode, you find out that she gets the recipe. She's like, boom, boners, I got the recipe. And this other girl's like... American is a dirty, dirty whore. She brings great shame to her family. And then Charlie had fallen in love with the other girl that worked at the restaurant, and he's gonna marry her. And then it turns out that she's only 11 years old.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's all we're gonna tell you. Wait till you get to the Dayman episode. Sweet Dee's dating a retarded person.
Oh my God.
It's incredible.
And then Charlie McDennis is my favorite episode.
Oh, that is true. You do like that one a lot. I like it, too. We should have played that in Florida.
I know. I'm surprised we didn't. Of all the shenanigans we pulled off.
Well, I didn't have any action figures, so...
Oh, that's good. We could have just went to fucking Walmart. Florida's got Walmarts.
Yeah, I mean, Florida is pretty trashy.
Very, very true.
Hey, while we're still somewhat... talking about Batman, arguably the greatest Batman movie of all time is finally getting a Blu-ray release, and that film was Batman: Mask of the Phantasm, the 1993 animated feature, which was theatrically released, and it was good, but it kind of flopped in theaters, but it found new life on home video, and I grew up watching that movie. It's phenomenal.
It is so good. I mean, obviously, without Mask of the Phantasm, we wouldn't have gotten the Batman Sub-Zero movie, obviously, and just so much goodness that came out of the '90s.
I definitely need to watch this again because I remember seeing the poster as a kid, and then I watched it and I didn't understand it, or maybe didn't pay attention. I don't know.
It's a deep movie for kids.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, plus, I think it didn't help that the Phantasm really didn't become a hardcore character, so that didn't help it. But God, man, that one.
Well, she couldn't have in the realm of the film because.
I'm still waiting for fucking Clayface to be a villain in a Batman movie. I'm still waiting for that shit. Okay, by far the scariest fucking character from that universe. Joker's fine, everybody else is okay, but like Clayface, always scared the shit out of me in the cartoon as a kid.
Well, you can't have scary Joker anywhere because Jared Leto Joker's a cuck.
That's true.
He's emotionally imbalanced and he's dependent upon Harley Quinn. They're trying to give her the power in the relationship, and they ruined the character. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I miss Heath Ledger. That dude was the Joker. Jack Nicholson's still my favorite, but my point is, when Heath Ledger was the Joker, he had balls.
big balls.
Biggest balls of all.
Well, I mean, and also all the Nolan movies are grounded in reality, which really I love that. And just seeing his Joker, not the fact that it was Heath Ledger, not the fact that he died. It was just he did a fucking amazing job.
Well, I guess it's like that old phrase goes: "You don't know what you got till it's gone." I still am not, a Heath Ledger fanboy, but goddamn, was he light years ahead of where Jared Leto was. Jared Leto was garbage.
Well,
damage was tattooed across your forehead.
Plus, we know that you've said on record mainly you don't like it because of how many people like Heath Ledger's Joker. But
no, it's not that I dislike it because a lot of people like him. I dislike it because a lot of people try to be like him and they suck and they tarnish the character.
Well, there's that too, but I think
it's only that. It's only that because from 2008 to 2011, all we saw was the fucking Joker everywhere. It's like, God damn it, he was good.
But the character's good. The character's good. There are a lot of characters that are imitated by motherfuckers that would ruin it. But if the original's that good,
Look, and I will guarantee you, in our lifetime, no character played by an actor has been as imitated as much as Heath Ledger's Joker. Name one.
I wouldn't say that you're wrong. I'm just,
It was just, it's too much. That's why I get pissed off. It's like, God damn it.
Yeah, and I mean, then you have the Jared Leto fucking the EDM Hot Topic Joker, which is just no, dude, I'm sorry, I can't take you seriously.
Those people can't afford to have kids, so don't market to those people because those people aren't going to have kids that get into your franchises and keep the shit going. It's like your manic pixie girl dreams, dream girls aren't going to,
and they probably shouldn't breed either, so it's fine.
Oh, I've been to enough horror hounds to know you're right.
Oh, God.
But back to Mask of the Phantasm. Seriously, it's the same crew as Batman the Animated Series. It's got a phenomenal score. We still got Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy as the Joker and Batman, respectively. You have Andrea Beaumont, played by Dana Delaney, who's also the voice of Lois Lane in Superman, so it's kind of weird hearing the same voice come out of a different woman. But it's a different type of Batman story. To me, it's like if you combined elements of that and Batman Begins together, you'd have the greatest Batman movie that could never ever be topped because it's a story about Batman. Most Batman movies are about Batman's villains, and Batman is just along for the ride. 89, Returns, all the George Clooney and the Val Kilmer ones. Batman is not the main focal point. It's the villains. They always get the big actors to play the villains, and even by the time, The Dark Knight came around, it was all about the Joker, and I guess Bane, they tried to make it about Bane, but he didn't suck, but he wasn't great. He was just there.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that one.
Talk about a drop-off in quality. Dion admitted it's not as good as The Dark Knight.
It's the third movie, dude. Like, what?
Captain America.
Yeah, it's also Captain America.
Return to the Jedi.
It has Return of the Jedi is not better than motherfucking.
You think Return of the Jedi is the best Star Wars movie?
That's me personally, and that's me.
I'm just saying. I'm using your logic against you, dude.
You love argument against me. I
just did.
Fucking, I'm saying that it's not horrible. I'm saying Nick is wrong. I'm not saying it's fucking.
Okay, all right. First of all, I said I didn't like it as you know in the other three.
And you're wrong. You should like it, is what I'm saying. You're wrong.
Well, it's my opinion, and you can go to hell. You can go to hell. Yeah, you can go to hell.
Hey, don't make me fucking kiss you in the mouth, but I will.
Listen here, all right? Just don't wear lipstick this time.
No evidence. So the movie comes out sometime this year. Google it, check it out. But I just want to let everyone know that's a real Batman fan. We're finally getting something Batman the Animated Series related in HD. The show's not in HD anywhere. They're just 480 DVDs out there. So it'll be nice to see the beautiful hand-drawn animation. It's painted, it's cell animation, so it's going to look good. And it's in widescreen or cropped open matte 4:3 ratio. So if you're a cinephile, you have the best of both worlds.
Plus, especially since fucking Killing Joke was a goddamn piss me off.
Joke. Did you see the Adam West Batman animated movie that came out last year?
I did not actually know.
Neither did I. Sorry, Adam West, but it just wasn't on my radar.
R.I.P., bro. R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. You're the third greatest.
He was number one in my heart, Adam West.
He's listening to us in heaven right now. He's like, good job, citizens. So, the biggest movie of the summer, ? Came out this week. Transformers: The Last Night. And goddamn, is it getting shit on. It has a 16% rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes. Are you guys surprised?
Well, I mean,
no.
I looked at Box Office Mojo, and it looked like it came out... Oh, no, sorry, no, it is in theaters. Holy shit, it actually is in theaters. It was such a fucking soft open that nobody cared about it at all.
I mean, me personally, I don't plan on seeing it ever, so...
Oh, God, no. Man.
There's a reason why they went and fucking begged Mark Wahlberg to be in it.
And apparently...
I like Mark Wahlberg, but I'm just like, when Mark...
When what? You cut out there.
Wahlberg is the jump you make after fucking Shia LaBeouf. Like, okay, how much more do you squeeze out of this fucking bean right now? And I remember specifically we went and watched Wonder Woman, and they had a trailer for it. And no, it wasn't Wonder Woman. It was Guardians of the Galaxy. Sorry, yeah, I thought I cut out there. Yeah, we went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and they showed a trailer for it, and literally no one said anything. One guy goes, woo! And then I audibly said, louder than I intended, don't cheer for that. And then everyone started laughing. Like, that's where we're at. Like, I know that we're talking about superhero fatigue. There is a goddamn Michael Bay fatigue, Transformers fatigue. It's happening. We're finally watching that motherfucker fall in his damn spire. Let him burn in hell.
Well, I've also heard that what is it? This is going to be his last Transformers movie, and Mark Wahlberg's not going to be back for the other ones either. So that's what I've heard so far.
Well, I've been reading some of the reviews, and everything is just shitting on this movie. I think Transformers movies are just too long to enjoy. The first one was fine. I liked it enough. If somebody gave it to me on Blu-ray, I would watch it annually.
Annually.
Maybe biannual. I don't know. If you gave it to me, if somebody mails it to me on Blu-ray, I'm gonna.
Well,
watch it
okay.
once.
The first one is 2 hours and 23 minutes, and I think they go up from there because I remember like there was an Extinction was like almost 3 hours, 2:45. Yeah, that was rough to get through. I made a mistake of watching that, and I was like, that's never again.
I haven't watched one since the second one. The minute I saw the robot scrotum joke, I was like, okay. All right. And then the minute that Shia LaBeouf goes to the robot heaven, I literally, because my sister and I went and watched it, we looked at each other and we both said, we're done. We're done. We're done. And we haven't seen any of it since. And I'm just like, don't get me wrong. If you like spectacles and
testicles,
shit happening in front of you, spectacle I'm using loosely, admittedly, but if you like shit happening in front of you, and you live in Thailand and you don't know what good movies are, whatever. I don't judge you. But just know that you're watching a piece of shit movie and it's a piece of shit, and by proxy, you're becoming a piece of shit. So I'm judging you.
I think
that was a film
like,
analysis by Dion Green.
For that, Dion needed a whiteboard, a lab coat, and a pair of glasses. Like, he needed that for that whole thing. Just like, A, B, here's a diagram. I don't know what I'm doing, and boom, you're shit.
All I'm saying is, like, you know, Jeff and I disagree on some shit. Unless they agree on everything, go fuck yourself. But, like...
Because you're my lackey?
I think... Right, I'm your lackey. I forgot about that. I mean, yes, sir. But like Jeff and I will argue about shit, but there are things that we universally agree on.
And this is one of them.
And this is one of them. Like, there's nothing that you can say to convince really anyone on this show. Probably Cuckin, because he likes shitty stuff. But there's nothing you can say where we're like, you know what? Let's buy some Bud Lights and watch a Transformers movie.
No,
never gonna happen.
That's a horrible idea. Well, all right. Here's a question. What if he had done like, let's say he had, instead of Transformers, he had done Bad Boys in this fashion? Would it have been better? Do you think?
I do, because I think you have less of a need for pointless special effects. Like, you have Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. They're at that time, they'd be at the end of their prime, I'd say. You'd have to have a good villain, because you'd have to have someone to match that level of chocolate charisma. And 2 was so awesome, so you'd have to be like, okay, well, we're gonna do something at least on the level of Bad Boys 2. So you couldn't just go balls out, robots, explosions, Will Smith, theme song. Like, you'd have to have something of substance. And with Transformers, he knew, okay, it's a cartoon, and the people who I want to see this will come see it because of the name, and dumb motherfuckers who live outside the capital in Cambodia are going to watch this movie. And like, I think that at this point, finally, after the billions of dollars this shit franchise has made, hopefully everyone's taking a step back and being like, yeah, I think we're done with this one.
Yeah, because I remember like after the third one, they're like, oh, we have like 8 more planned. I'm like, fuck, really? No, just quit it now. Shoot Michael Bay, and somebody just go behind and snuff him out, like right now. Just go do it. Go do it.
I don't want anyone to kill Michael Bay because he lives the coolest life ever. He fucks hot and upcoming female celebrities. He has a ton of money, and movie studios beg him to make shit. I swear to God, if I was in his position and Paramount Pictures said, here's $150 million, make us this movie. Sure, anything you fucking want. I'll be in it myself.
No. Here's what you do. You take $150 million, you use like 10 of it to make a movie, and then you take the other $130 million and make Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Oh no, that $150 million is my own personal take. That's what they're paying me on top of a cut of the box office.
Oh, Jesus.
That Michael Bay has that kind of money. I would do that. If you offered me $150 million to do anything that doesn't include bodily harm, I'm pretty much there. And I don't have to go to jail afterwards. Like, I could do some emotionally damaging shit. Hey, for $150 million, I'm sold. I will beat up my grandma for $150 million. Sorry, Grandma. You've had a good life. I need the money. My mom wouldn't even be mad at me. She's like, you know what? She was old and you're rich. It's okay.
Yeah. Your mom would probably be like, and there are years where I thought to myself, Grandma needed a beating.
God damn it.
But speaking of beatings, dude, this movie is getting fucking ripped apart. Listen to this one, paragraph review. A movie that is once loud, yet incoherent, complex, yet idiotic, and expensive, yet worthless. That's fucking harsh. 1 out of 5 stars.
Damn, dude. Jesus Christ.
Now, I said in the beginning of this, I think the first one is fine. Dan and I tried to go see the second one. I fell asleep. I said to him, wake me up when Optimus Prime comes back, which he did, and I guess I watched the rest of the movie. And then one of the few times where I wanted to hit Joel in the mouth, on the 4th of July of 2011, he's like, hey, let's hang out, we'll get some fireworks, we'll do a barbecue, and we can go to a movie. And I said, okay, fine. That movie was Transformers 3. Fuck you, Joel. That was the worst 4th of July I've ever had in my entire life. That movie, I wanted to walk out like 20 minutes in.
I remember when that was like I think that honestly that was like the right before the when it whatever it came on Netflix, and like you came back, whatever, because we were still hanging out, and it was on Netflix, and I was like. And I remember I like moved the cursor over Transformers 3, and all you said was no. And I was like, was it that bad? And you were like, no. And you told me what you just said, and I was like, I'm not watching that ever.
Jeff had like a Vietnam flashback, and like you were like you hold up the box, like where did they touch you? Show me on the box where they touched you.
Everywhere.
That's what happened.
Dion, it's funny that you bring up coming up to visit, because I was looking on Facebook Flashback today. I must have visited you guys 4 or 5 times in 2012. Like, on this date in 2012, I came up to visit you.
Yep.
And then I know for sure I came back in July to see The Dark Knight Returns with you, or The Dark Knight Rises with you.
Yes.
God damn. And then I came up again for New Year's. No complaints. It was an awesome time. I'm just saying.
It was a good year. It was a great year.
2012 was one of the best years of my life. That, 1999, 2010 was pretty goddamn... Or 2009 was pretty goddamn good. Anyway, back to the news. What else we got?
Yeah, we're doing a show.
Pretty much it. Hey, we have a podcast that people actually care about. Thousands of you listen each week, so thank you for that. That'll be the news for this week. Our regular news desk anchor, Curtis Lindenfield, was not here tonight, but he did send me a list. We'll save some of it for next week.
All right.
Also, it seems... Sorry, one of our fans, or should I say, just somebody that watches our videos on YouTube, Donnie St. Pierre, said, it has been confirmed that how Han Solo got his name was referring to his reputation and not his actual name. I will look up an article during the podcast, and if I find that, I will take back one negative thing I've said about the Han Solo film. And if not, I won't.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I mean, I could see that's one of those code name things that makes sense. The only thing I'd say is it better be like a fucking like cool like he was on.
It better not be a thing at all. Everyone's name in Star Wars is their name. There's no code names. There's no nothing. James Bond's his real name. Han Solo is his real name. Sorry, some douchebag writer right out of college thinks Han Solo is a stupid name, but the character of Han Solo holds more weight than you'll ever have relevance in your life, so just fuck off and be a part of the machine. Stop trying to change shit, all right?
I know, but if like...
George Lucas created it.
Yeah, but if his name's like Hando McBattersnots... but he went with Han Solo because he was like a badass soldier.
It sounds like Hander McBatterson's like graduated high school being the nerd and then went to college and he's like Han Solo bitches like it's if like can the Han Solo movie just be like the summer between like high school and college? Can I have that movie? Where like, you know, he meets Chewie, they get into some shenanigans, and then, you know, he almost gets caught by Lando, but Lando joins his crew, and they start, like, I don't know, stealing stuff or whatever, and becoming bandits in the galaxy. And then it's like, well, smuggling shit, and then his parents call him up and be like, yo, dude, you had a really good summer, time to go to college. And then he gets in his fucking dorm room, and he's like, hey, man, what's your name? He's like, Han Solo. Can I just have that movie?
You can have it. I will see that one. What I did on my summer vacation by Hander Bad Mix something, whatever the fuck you called him, Wundervorgen. Was he Dutch? Dutch Solo, dude. A Han Solo and Dutch for Predator movie. Now that would be incredible.
Now, yes, talk about crossover, son.
Dude, Harrison Ford in his prime with Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime.
Dude, that'd be too cool of a goddamn movie.
I don't think we'd be allowed to watch it legally.
Dude, every chick, their panties would be sopping wet by the fucking 30-minute mark.
We would all have heart attacks because our dicks would be so hard that our hearts couldn't pump enough blood into them. We'd be like, ah!
I'd risk it. I'd fucking risk it. I'd be like, Dutch, Han, fuck me. Fuck me.
That's a weird fantasy, but all right.
Yeah, when Dion was a kid, he used to jerk off to Witness, and The Fugitive. when Tommy Lee Jones is like, I don't care, Dion's like, I care! I know you didn't kill your wife, Dr. Richard Kimball, but I'll be your new one. Come away with me to Michigan. You, me, and my real dad, Danny Glover, would hang out. We'll remake Lethal Weapon together.
Oh, fuck you. That sounds amazing.
Oh, the childhood I wish I had. All right, so that is the news for this week. Now, let's move over to the main feature because, God damn it, I'm going to say it. I'm tired of superhero movies. Not every superhero movie, but all the Sony ones. So, this week we had a shitstorm brewing when the stupid-ass Sony opened its mouth and said some more dumb shit about the forthcoming Spider-Man universe. Can we, have a law where you can't use the word franchise or universe or film series for, the next year? I'm so tired.
No. Make it at least 5 years. Let's have a nice long break. Let's watch something else, and then get our minds clean of the universes, and then come back to another universe or something different.
Government mandated the only film series that can exist is the James Bond series.
Yeah, no, because that's been going on too long. Not too long, but a long ass time already, and it's okay. It's pretty much just grounded, and it's rooted in a lot of stuff, so it's fine. Just let it be.
But it's had different characters too. Like the franchise movies now have the same people. Yep. And it's just oh fuck, James Bond had different people play James Bond. It's a generational change where it's now it's everything's gotta be connected, and we gotta have Tom Cruise in it, and it's gotta fucking have a logo at the front. God damn it.
Oh, by the way, for members of the fan cast, only Nick saw The Mummy, at least as of last week's recording. Dion, have you seen it?
I have not. I was actually going to go see it after work, but I was
don't.
Maybe I should call Nick and ask if I really should. And I felt like Nick would have been like, "Don't." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'll just take a nap."
I can get it for you if you want to watch it and not have to pay for it.
I do. I still want to watch. I'm just Tom Cruise has never let me down, and I feel like I owe it to him personally, to watch this movie.
Well, if you're going to send it his way, make sure a wind catches it my way, too, because I'll watch it. Maybe, what we should do is, if you can get it now, we should do a commentary on the movie while it's still out in theaters.
Dude,
yes.
I can do that, actually. I can entirely do that.
All right, then listeners, you heard it here first. At 9:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to have a Mummy drunk commentary before the movie's even out of theaters, so... Thank you, Samoa. I appreciate your due diligence and all the effort you put in towards this channel.
Well, we try to pirate everything we can just to just make it better for the fans. So it's all good.
Plus, he's the last standing Samoan, and the second to last standing Samoan was like, "I'll wait till it gets out on DVD." The last standing Samoan said no before theaters are open.
That's why I had to kill the other last inning Samoan so I could be the last inning Samoan. It was tough, but I had to do it.
When we do our webcomic, I'll do a whole timeline of the last standing Samoans of world class.
I can. No, please don't make it. Don't make it what is it dark that dark ship thing that happened in Watchmen. Don't make it like that.
Oh, the Dark Freighter?
Yeah, don't think it like that.
Goddamn.
Oh, no, it was literally just going to be a timeline of, 1804. The Nick Udom family timeline begins. The crest is a pineapple. And then it just goes on and on like that, and then at the end it's going to be you with a fucking spear. Nick Udom, the last standing Samoan. That's it. I don't want to draw 40 pages worth of comics. I'm getting tired of that shit.
Don't get weird like that. But no, that's fine. God, actually, that makes me kind of excited that we're gonna have our own comic. That's really awesome, actually.
I think it's gonna start with the Adventures of Wingman, and then I'm gonna I'll parlay it into other.
I ask one thing: can we have a Scooby-Doo-esque one comic? We go to an abandoned something, scary dude unmasked. I want that.
The world-class bullshitters find out what happened to the Justice League movie that should have been.
That's fine. That's fine. But I want a Scooby-Doo-esque thing. That's all I want. That's all I ask for.
I'll draw us even in the way of Scooby-Doo, the Hanna-Barbera style.
Oh my god.
It'll be amazing. We'll look. I guess Curtis Lendenfield will be Scooby-Doo.
Will he just be running around trying to lick everybody's taints?
Yeah, and you know, we were out of toilet paper. Curtis! God, it got weird.
The bus, like the fucking bus broke down.
We won't have a mystery machine. We'll have a shitty minivan or something.
Give us the short bus. Give us the short bus.
No, we'll have Dixie's crappy Ford Windstar. Have you heard it keeps breaking down on her?
Dude, I just gotta keep laughing. I shouldn't, but I keep laughing.
For all the money she spends on like makeup and perfume and all this other dumb shit, just buy a new car. You have a good job. Just buy the fucking car.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a whole other conversation about finances that we can do on our new World Class Bullshitters finance channel that we're trying to make. That's going to come to you guys here real soon.
Yeah, we've been in negotiations with Bloomberg and MSNBC. We're trying to be nonpartisan in our political topics, but we're going to be out soon, probably by the end of 2019. It's going to be huge.
maybe 2025, depending on how legal things go.
When Doc Brown invents his time traveling DeLorean, we will be there reporting the financial news the first day. Be on the lookout for that. So back to where we were, though, with the Spider-Man universe. The first bit of confusion stemmed from the question, will Venom take place in the MCU? First it was yes, then it was no, now it's a yes again. It's getting too hard to keep track of this shit, and coming from me, I honestly feel like that holds a lot of weight. So how do you guys feel about the whole Venom, it's a part of the MCU now? Does it feel like it's just too much baggage to be brought into this?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they need to just. I guess Venom is his Joker. I guess is that how it's?
No, not even.
Okay, all right.
No,
So then
Doctor Octopus and the Green Goblin.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So I know fuck all about Spider-Man, as everybody knows. It's forced, and I hate it. They need to pick some other villains, and maybe if they do a third one, do a memorable villain, but just let Spider-Man die. Honestly, just let it go. I'm tired of it. Just let it go, please.
Dion?
I mean, I guess the rumor is Carnage is going to be the villain in the Venom movie, so to speak, which is dumb because it's fucking Venom. But for me, I think that there's this underlining thought process that they think fans want to see Venom and Spider-Man in the movie together. I think that they're preying on that. I think that they're swinging and missing on that. And to answer your question, I think no. It's not adding too much. But if this is the way that they're going to do it, it's the wrong fucking way, I think there's a way to make Venom somewhat to integrate him into the franchise. I think they want to eventually make him the Flash Thompson Venom for some fucking reason, and it's just like, how to do it, and you're choosing not to do it the right way. I don't know if it's Sony doing it or what, but I think this is the wrong way.
Don't blame Marvel on this one.
Okay.
Well,
okay. Then.
And okay, so Marvel's making Homecoming, correct? Not Sony.
No, Sony's
That's
making
Marvel.
Marvel's just part of it.
Okay, well then what they should do if they're planning 3 movies is go ahead and introduce Venom at the end of the movie or the last quarter of it, and then kind of keep having him be a thing for the next 3 movies until the third one when he shows up. In part 2, have him have a bigger role or something. Have him be around more and more scenes, and then the third one hit it with Venom's here kind of thing.
Well, Dion, you hit the nail on the head. They're just trying to constantly have it be Spider-Man, Venom, and Carnage like it was in the 90s, because the people that grew up like us are of the age where we have the money to go see the movie, and the kids will see it because it's Spider-Man. But it has to build up to it. It's not like Venom appeared in the first year of Spider-Man. He appeared in nearly the 30th year, the 25th year of Spider-Man's existence, 1988. Venom appeared. It wasn't like an overnight thing. Carnage appeared 3 years later.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Venom only was in a handful of stories before he went away for a while and then became an anti-hero. So, people, if you're sitting there going, I can't wait for a Carnage and Venom movie, It's not time yet. Wait it out. Look what happened with Spider-Man 3. They tried to push everything into it, and it sucked. Do you want another Spider-Man 3? No, because you won't have a Spider-Man 2 to lead into it.
Well, I think the other thing, too, that people don't realize, Jeff, you and I understand this. Jeff, you obviously more so than me. What did Venom really do? Fucking the Green Goblin killed Gwen Stacy. Doc Ock fucking kidnapped Aunt May and tried to fucking kill her. Venom pretended to be that he was Spider-Man and what Carnage killed people, but no one they didn't do anything to really make Peter Parker hate him besides I can't see him with my spider sense. So to force this franchise because hey, Topher Grace did it once, and we know you guys didn't like that, right? There are ways to make him he's not an A-lister Spider-Man villain. He's just not. I'm sorry. He's not that guy. He's just not, guys. I'm sorry. He's Venom? Barely a B. Yeah, Venom. He's barely a B-level Spider-Man's villain. Don't force it.
In the 90s, he was the most popular villain, but that was in the 90s. It's not the 90s anymore, and I'm not trying to sound pretentious, but we have more sophisticated superhero fare. I mean, if they wanted to make all the movies basic and simplistic, that's cool, but Venom's not where you start, because the only reason Venom's mildly interesting is because he shares Spider-Man's powers and a hatred for Spider-Man, but he doesn't just have it inherently. Spider-Man has to get the symbiote, reject it, the internal struggle, then Venom comes into it. So that's like 2 movies. You get what I'm saying? Venom can appear in the third movie in a Venom trilogy. You can't start out with the Venom trilogy. Look, if Avi Arad would die, this would be okay, because we wouldn't have this Israeli motherfucker trying to just constantly push this shit. We need Venom, we need Venom. Venom sold a lot of toys and made me a lot of money. Good for you, Avi, but you know what? It's not the 90s. We're not worried about toy sales as much. We need a fucking movie that can be carried on for 10 or 15 sequels. And guess what? If you blow your load too early, you're not going to get hard again and you can't fuck anymore. So you're blowing your load right away. The chick hasn't even put the condom on you. You've ruined the night. So, dude, just take a step back. Give us the Vulture and the Scorpion and Kraven the Hunter and Mysterio, the Chameleon. Maybe put subtle threads about how John Jameson's going to outer space, or there's during the Secret War. That'd be the best way to introduce Venom, is during the Secret War movie or Infinity War or whatever it's going to be called. Infinity War parts 1 or 2, when they get transported to another dimension, have the symbiote attach itself to Spider-Man. That's the only time you could legitimately get him off planet, because you pick a little boy version of Spider-Man as opposed to the grown adult that has his own apartment and a girlfriend and real issues that more people can relate to. No one that goes to this movie that's going to love it is going to be like a grown man going oh man, this high school drama is so great and so deep. Oh, it brings me back to my days in high school. No, you're going to look at it and say, these kids are fucking stupid. You're going to watch this movie and go oh, okay, I like the Spider-Man parts, but I don't give a shit about Zendaya in the Disney Channel. Everything's wrong about Spider-Man Homecoming. Everything's wrong about that Venom movie.
Well, I mean, yeah, because even the commercial for it, they play that song in the beginning, and the way they show it, it's Spider-Man's in high school. He's having a hard time balancing being a superhero and homework. Tony Stark's there. He's not making anything any easier. It's we get it. We fucking get it.
Well, I think the other thing too is, you brought up a great point with Avi Arad. The only thing I would ever say to anyone that agrees with Avi Arad or Avi Arad himself, I think, Jeff, you'd wholeheartedly agree with this. I'd say, Avi, you're dumbass fans. There's a reason he picked Green Goblin as the first villain in the movie. There's a reason for that. There's a reason he didn't start with fucking Venom. And I would just leave it at that. There's nothing you can say. Venom has no real grounding in Spider-Man's startup. So even if Venom's the next villain after Vulture, you can't spin it that way. The symbiote doesn't just come out of nowhere. There's a reason why Green Goblin was first and Doc Ock was second. There's a fucking reason to that. Period. You know the reason. I know the reason. Venom isn't he's not an A-lister. He's not Spider-Man's main villain. I'm sorry, guys. The black suit looks cool. We get it. That's not enough to make a whole movie out of it. I'm sorry.
The black suit does look amazing, and if I was the artist on Amazing Spider-Man, I would campaign to bring back the black costume. I think it looks amazing on paper, especially when you don't put all the detail in it. It's just like a black figure with the white eyes and the spider that just pops out of nowhere.
And the fucking white patches on the hands, that looks awesome.
Yeah. I'm all for, the symbiote costume, and I really think they need another pass at the costume and how it alters his personality and all that good shit. I don't think they need Venom just to appear out of nowhere. It's so dumb. It's like, why does Spider-Man fight this alien with the same fucking powers as him? The world may never know. But you know what? Virgins on the internet are going to go on and on about how great it is because it's not Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3 is a bad movie, and we've done a drunk commentary. You'll hear it in a couple weeks. But it has done a lot of damage outside of the movie existing itself because everyone's like, oh, we don't want it to be like Spider-Man 3. But everything they make is worse than Spider-Man 3. Like, Spider-Man 3 is a step up from everything these people have tried to make.
Yeah, but it seems like they're stuck in that Spider-Man 3 mindset almost, and it's just like they'll never get free of it because of, greed, money, and, they just want to rip Spider-Man in the butt, it seems like.
Yeah, they've ruined the character. The character hasn't been great in comics in 10 years, maybe 12, longer. There hasn't been a truly great Spider-Man story in quite some time. Everything's just been serviceable or pretty good. Like, I think the last good story is when Aunt May got married, and that's only because it was the culmination of 40 years of storytelling. Well, like close to 50 at that point. But the movies, they don't earn it, man. I'm not trying to act like they owe it to me personally, but they owe it to everyone that watches these movies.
No, they do. And again, I hate to be.
I
read comic books and blah 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 blah. No, you do. You do owe it to comic book readers. You do owe it to fans like Jeff. And you owe it to fans like us.
No, they do it to fans like you because you said before multiple times. You even showed pictures of it, like your Spider-Man, plaque above where you work. Like, there's a ton of shit. You spent money, thousands of dollars, maybe more, on Spider-Man stuff, and for them to just disregard that is bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole reason I got into drawing is because I was pumped for that movie. I picked the How to Draw book because Spider-Man was on the cover, and here we are, 16 years later, I'm knee-deep in drawing comics, even though I hate it. I'm still doing it,
Well, and again, and this is kind of, into forgive me for getting a little personal, but, I always harp, and if there's one thing that I try to stay true to on this show, is the harping on you need to have a good fucking story. If there's one difference between me and Cuckin is Cuckin, Dustin Curtis, whatever the fuck he calls himself, is okay with shitty story. A lot of fans, Spider-Man, Marvel, Superman, DC, are okay. They're okay with forgiving shitty story. And if you make a Venom movie, literally make a Venom movie without explaining where the symbiote came from in detail, like, oh, he just followed the Avengers and now he's Venom. That's shitty storytelling. There's like I can't say anything more to get people who listen, Marvel, Sony. I can't say anything more to get you to realize that's shitty storytelling. Randomly coming up with shit like, in other franchises, well, his hand got cut off. How'd you get the lightsaber? That's a story for another day. That's shitty storytelling. I'm Spider-Man. I don't want to tell you who I am. I'm taking my mask off randomly. That's shitty storytelling.
And that's what bothers me about all Spider-Man movies post Sam Raimi. It's not because I'm so attached that I can't accept anything different. I like multiple actors that play James Bond. I don't really... Yeah. I'm not stuck on Pierce Brosnan. I'm not stuck on Sean Connery. I can find things I enjoy about every actor. Same thing with Spider-Man. I can have a different interpretation, but the problem is they never get the character right.
Yes.
They're focused on like three things.
Shitty storytelling.
Not even the shitty storytelling. Here are the three things that Sony executives are focusing on with every Spider-Man movie post Sam Raimi because they read fucking idiots on the internet that don't really know about the character. It's like, look, I'm a member of the Spider-Man group on Facebook. You can tell it's a little teenager or a really slow adult that runs this page because all they can go on about is, oh, look at this fan art. It's shitty art. And they're like, oh, this is so great because it's Spider-Man. It's because it's Spider-Man that these people gravitate towards it. And they're like, they virtue signal. I watched the animated series from the 90s and I've seen the movies. I'm a big fan. Like, pick up a fucking book. Reading is the most basic, fundamental learning thing in the world. Like, everyone knows how to, 99% of the people know how to read. It's just a universal thing. Diane's kid is starting to learn how to read. It's not a hard thing to do. And pick up a comic book. They're well written and they're fun. That bothers me. But back to my point about the 3 things they always harp on. All they do is they got to make sure that there are web shooters visible to the audience so they stop bitching on the internet. Second, they try to make all these jokes. That's all they keep putting in there. Because Spider-Man, is not Deadpool. Spider-Man has not always been a joke-a-minute guy. Go back and read some of the greatest stories of Spider-Man's career. They're dramatic moments. They're not about making jokes. When his girlfriend dies, he doesn't go, wake up, honey, or something about a cold fish. No, he just, acts like a real person. So it's appropriate not to be making jokes every minute. When it comes time, he makes them. And third, everyone's got a hard-on about how he gets the fucking suit. Oh, it looks too good. It looks professional. It's a fucking movie, all right? You would bitch if he came out in a fucking sweatshirt the whole time. Oh, it's not Spider-Man. Spider-Man looks like this. So when they make him look like that from the get-go, that's the one thing I always harp on. The first Spider-Man movie, right out of the gate, gets it all right. They didn't have to really revise anything for the second movie. They just added more to that formula. And it was great. But we're stuck in a place where we're focused on those 3 things, and then a 4th thing, he's a young superhero. We got to put him in high school because that's where all the drama came from. No! He was in high school for 31 issues. 31 out of 750. That is not... If you took a test and got 31 questions right out of 750, you'd fucking fail. Miserably. What is that, like a 12% or something like that? No. If 10% is, 70? You got 5%. You got 5% on your test. You're a fucking.
Hold on. Okay? What were the numbers again? I'll find out right now.
Roughly 31 out of 750.
Okay.
So you tell me the numbers.
That's less than 5%. Shit. That is way less than 5%. And even to go off of that, for even more depth, he was out of high school by the 60s, guys.
Yeah, issue 30.
He was out of high school before the 60s ended.
Before the second artist came in on the book. Before John Romita Sr. Dude. And if you go back and you read the old letters columns from the original issues of Amazing Spider-Man, the #1 requested story is, when will Peter graduate from high school? Look, I know that people like Joe Quesada and the executives over at Sony like to think, well, Spider-Man's got to be the kid hero. He's got to be there for the kids. No, I was a little kid. I was attracted to Spider-Man that had a wife, and Aunt May was about to die, and they were going to have a kid. Those kind of things aren't a turnoff. A person growing up and having a family and doing the normal things that a person in America does is not a factor that turns off a reader. Like me, I'm a single guy. I would prefer to read the old Spider-Man stories with Mary Jane as his wife. I don't want, young Bill. I don't want Mark Zuckerberg in a Spider-Man costume.
The answer is 4.13.
4.13%. If you're going on the 616 universe, 4.13% of his time as Spider-Man was spent in high school. So thank you, Sony and Marvel, for spending $300 million on a movie that represents 4% of Spider-Man's career. Then you want to jump to the 80s where Spider-Man was a grown man getting married, and we have to worry about the black suit. Don't cross over these moments. You're just ruining it. And the thing is, you want money, and that's fine that you want money, but you have to build up equity in a franchise to earn said money. I will go see Spider-Man Homecoming. If it is shit, I will not see the sequel. I don't give a fuck if I'm in it personally. I won't go see that movie if the first one's shit. Okay? You have to earn my dollars. And you have to give me something to get excited for.
But again,
we're making 20 of them.
And I don't mean, and again, I'm honestly not trying to trivialize what you're saying, Jeff. I'm really not. But again, that's part of storytelling. You find yourself caring about characters when they have earned your interest. So you can't. we always talk about the first Spider-Man movie. I get it. Oh, Dion and Jeff talk about the same shit. Fuck you. The first Spider-Man movie, even if you don't, that's why the first one was so successful. People who didn't read Spider-Man, he earned their interest because he was a fucking nobody. He was leaving high school. He became Spider-Man. Him fucking chasing down the guy who fucking killed his uncle was done before he was really Spider-Man. Then he's Spider-Man, and he's going into college, and then he faces someone who's worse than the dude who killed his uncle. He earned you wanting him to succeed. Any other movie with a successful hero, we talk about Predator. We know that he's a soldier. He earns our fucking interest because his whole unit gets killed, and he's by himself. Whatever, any other movie, it doesn't even have to be an action movie. It could be fuck The Godfather. You care about Michael Corleone because he earns your interest. He didn't want to be in the mob. His father gets sick. He picks up the mantle. He's trying to keep his family together, and some of them are fucking idiots, and he's trying to get them out of crime. He earns your interest. Storytelling is so important. And the minute that you are okay with the story being bad, that's when you get movies like the first Amazing Spider-Man, like the second one. There's no interest in him being Spider-Man. That whole movie is literally based around the fact, this is Spider-Man, watch the movie. There's no charisma between Spider-Man and Gwen. That forced scene between Gwen's dad and Peter Parker, that for me, that's what ruined the movie, because that interaction isn't earned. It makes no sense in the movie. But Dion,
they were dating in real life. That's real chemistry. That makes the movie good.
and people like that are the problem. There's this weird need to I got a fucking hard on for the Kong movie because it was great storytelling.
Oh, God, yeah.
John Goodman, who references something that he saw in World War II. That's his character. His whole life changed. He saw a monster that wasn't King Kong. That's good storytelling. He didn't go to King Kong to Kong Island because his wife was making the movie and we need to see black actors as side characters. There wasn't bullshit compared to it. It wasn't Gwen It wasn't what's the bitch that played Gwen Stacy in the last one, in the newest
Emma Stone.
It wasn't Emma Stone dating John Goodman's son. It was good storytelling. And that's fucking huge. That's the biggest part of it. God damn, what do we have to do to make you see that, guys?
Yeah, it's part one of making a movie. There has to be a good story. That's number one. Without that, you've seen the shit we've been getting without it. You know what it is.
Do you think audiences are starting to fight back a bit? Because look at the Mummy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The Mummy is not a hit.
Well, I mean, with that, it's weird because that was more of just because Rotten Tomatoes didn't like it, we shouldn't go watch it kind of thing, which is kind of weird because, I don't know why Rotten Tomatoes is ruling everybody's lives. That's kind of odd. But, in the beginning, I didn't, I was like, oh, it's probably going to be okay. It's just kind of this monster movie that Universal's done. It's probably going to be all right. It wasn't all right. I understand why it was bad. There were reasons. But still, you'd think people would be at least on board for something like that. Or maybe it's just Universal's been trying to shove it down our throats for the past, 5 or 10 years that we just don't care anymore. We don't care about these monsters. They're old news. We don't want them. It's fine.
Well, Dion, like you said earlier, man, you didn't even realize that this new King Kong Godzilla crossover was based off the first one. Well, it's going to take a 5-year gap because they made one singular movie. Please make singular movies. If they're a hit, create a story. Don't create a fucking universe. Because what's going to happen is this is the golden age of Hollywood. And remember how, we weren't alive, but according to history, in the 70s, that shit, the big names kind of died out, and they started making gritty, realistic types of films, and those were what were popular. That's why Al Pacino was a star. The Gene Hackman movies, like The Conversation and The French Connection, you had these low-scale movies. I think we're going to get to a point where there's too much opulence in Hollywood, and we're just going to get tired of that shit. And you'll have stuff like John Wick, and that'll be the biggest thing. And I'm not talking financially, I'm talking like in scale. Like John Wick was the perfect action movie of 2017. Like it's what we need in an action movie. I think we're going to get to a point where everything's small scale. We'll use the James Bond analogy if you'll indulge me for a second. Moonraker, he goes to outer space. You literally can't go any higher than outer space. So what do? They bring him back to Earth and they make a very realistic movie, and it's great. It has great writing, a great script. It's Roger Moore's best one. I think we're at Moonraker right now.
Yes.
We can't go too much higher, and we shouldn't go much higher.
Yeah, and I mean, even with John Wick, the first one came out in 2014, the budget was $20 million. A lot of the movies that you're seeing now it start at 150 and go up. You know, and I think that's the thing. It's like, you know, you're right. Opulence is going to be the death of them, and they need to kind of bring it back down. Good storytelling. How can we make this movie for less if we just kind of show things or reference things here and there without having to have like a fucking like light speed space battle? Like, we don't need that.
Well, I think, and going off of that, I think the perfect example is Infinity Wars, right? So Infinity Wars coming up, right? In comparison to superhero fatigue, everyone can kind of admit, you know, it's getting a little tedious. You know, Chris Evans has come out saying, yeah, it's going to wrap everything up. But despite all of that, we still want to see Infinity Wars. Why? Because the story has been so good. You know, you're talking about after Moonraker, the character earned your interest, and then they made a good story to keep it. Infinity War. You know, there's so many goddamn superhero movies coming out now. DC is shit in the bed. They're making meh movies, wasting their opportunity. You know, we've got, you know, more comic book movies coming out right before Infinity War. But again, the movies have been good. So good. And they've created a universe that we want to know what happens because the story was fucking amazing. Like that, like you can't, like, if you want a blueprint to make a franchise, if there's one thing you spend money on, even if we do an episode in the future of what Marvel should do afterwards, focus on the story, son.
Yeah, like, you know, do a Star Wars, like make one singular good coherent movie with good story. Don't worry about a sequel or a prequel or, you know, the toys. Like, make one good movie. If it's good, it picks up, people love it, and, you know, you get praise for it, then go from there.
And space your movies out too. I know America has the world has short attention spans. I mean, fidget spinners are already on the way out, and those things just seem to appear out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But let's go to Bond real quick. James Bond movies, they used to come out every year for a while, then they came out every 2 years for like 30-plus years, and now they come out like every 5 years. And I know I love them, and I would like to see one every other year, but with a gap, it gives me so much time to consume everything else, and then Bond comes out, and everything just builds to that, and it adds excitement. I like with Star Wars, I was fine waiting 3 years in between the prequels. There was plenty of stuff to do, and those movies made a ton of money. Like, you need to let stuff breathe. It's like Spider-Man's not even out yet, Homecoming, and now we're talking about the sequel. The sequel has a fucking date. It comes out in 2019. It's like July 5th. That's my mom's birthday. That's why I know it. It comes out July 5th, 2019. Less than 2 years later, we got the fucking sequel. Then there's another one, and then we're going to have Venom the year between that. It's mind-boggling.
And they end up rushing the story. They rush the story.
They don't even have fucking story. Here's the thing. They don't get people that are like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but you could pay me to write a Spider-Man movie, and I guarantee it would be good, because I know the character, I know it works. I think I have enough knowledge and storytelling ability to put on film, or at least on paper that will be put on film, a coherent Spider-Man story that can do three things. Tell a good story, continue a longer-running storyline, and you can build a franchise off of that. And pay respect to the character. Get somebody that likes the shit. Sam Raimi loves Spider-Man. Look what we got. Mark Webb was hired because his name was Webb. Look what happened. This new guy that I don't even know his fucking name, he is just a figurehead. He's the director in name only. A dino, if you will. the studio has all the power with these movies. With Star Wars, that's why I brought up the Ron Howard question. Like, anyone could direct a Star... Like, okay, Dion, you did say this, though. If it was one of the episodes, you agree that it would be studio mandates only. Right. And I don't think Rian Johnson's actually directing Episode 8. What I mean is...
Right.
Kathleen Kennedy and the directors at Lucasfilm have an edict, and he has to follow it and then put his name on it and just be there on set every day. He's really not the director. I don't think J.J. Abrams really directed as much of Episode 7 as we think. And whoever's doing Episode 9... what's his name? Trevor something Rowe? Colin Trevorrow? He's just a dino as well. It's sad. And real quick, I want to bring this up. We're talking about movies jumping the gun, and you brought up, Nick, about the budget of John Wick. I think we got a flop in the making. Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. Have you guys seen a trailer for that?
You mean a flop that's been made?
I'm
horrible.
I'm excited because the guy who did Fifth Element did that, and I want to give it a chance.
Luc Besson?
Yeah, like, I love Fifth Element, and I watched it recently when they had the screening after so many years, and I still love it. It's still a great movie, so I'm going to give this a chance, and hopefully it's at least a coherent story.
I gotta give him credit. He was married to Mila Jovovich for a while.
Yep. God damn, talk about fucking something. Well, but she seems kind of crazy, so I ain't gonna get. I ain't gonna bust his chops too much.
I'm just saying, she's fine. He's not. He's a weird looking dude.
Well, you know.
But no, I think this movie is going to be just a terrible flop. It looks bad. It looks like it's the cart carrying the horse. You know, it's franchise, and it's not really.
And I mean, it reminds me of Jupiter Ascending a lot, which that movie was really great. Let me tell you.
I think the problem, like, the effects look good. The problem is the trailer looks garbage. It looks so bad, and it sucks they got the motherfucker that played Harry Osborn in the shit to be. And the other thing too, and this is again, you know, harping on story. I remember trying to read Valiant as a kid, and it was just way too much. And I think they tried to fit all of that in one trailer. And, going off of what you're saying, man, it's just like, guys, not everything has to be even if you want to make a Valiant movie, like, focus on one aspect of of the comic book or the graphic of the series. Like, why does it have to be like all this crazy shit happening all the time? Like, fuck. Like, give me something to focus on. God damn. I
don't think this movie has enough teeth to, like, draw me in. Like, if this was and I'm not trying to say I need everything to be violent, but realistically, I'm getting to a point where now, if it's not rated R, it's not going to have enough action.
That's a great point, man. That's a great point. That's a fucking great
point. Like, I don't need it to be RoboCop levels of violence, but I like violent sci-fi. I think it's entertaining because I'm not going to go out and kill anyone, and I have no intention to see. Like, I hate those videos on the internet where people get hurt or killed. Like, a fail army video is different than seeing, like, Bud Dwyer blow his brains out.
Oh, of course.
One's funny, one's devastating. But these, like, kiddie, teeny-centric movies are stupid. Like, even a movie that can appeal to all ages should have some moments, like Spielberg movies. I have new respect for Spielberg. Not my favorite director, but, like, when you go back and watch the old Indiana Jones movies, they have moments for kids, and they have moments for adults, and they have moments where kids won't even understand what's happening, but They can still enjoy the main plots of the film. This Valerian movie looks like it's for tweens, but tweens aren't going to the theaters. They're fucking around on their cell phones and doing dumb shit.
Playing with their fidget spinners,
Yeah, that aren't even popular anymore.
Well, I think that, you brought the rated R thing. I think that's a perfect example because in rated R, there's depth. And with fucking, like, when you can't show blood in the movie, you automatically know, this shit ain't real. Like, if someone gets punched in the face, you bleed.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that's why I loved Logan so much, I think when it came out this year, right? I loved it so much because, it was they killed him off properly. They had him go out in, like, a blaze of glory. He
died gorily, yeah.
Yeah, he did. He was, and even the beginning when they show him in the limo and he's killing those people who are trying to jack his car, like, that was fucking violent. But that's Wolverine. He has knives in his fucking body, and he's, he can regenerate, and he's fucking violent. He's always been that way. To actually show blood and, like, all this other stuff this time was amazing. I loved it. And and I really wish I would have gone to go see the noir black and white version. Maybe it would have been different or better or worse. I don't know. It just seemed interesting to me. But that's why I loved Logan so much, because I mean, it was just really well done.
I loved Logan too, man. It was, I don't know if it was my favorite superhero movie of the year. I think I like it more than Guardians.
Yeah,
It's second for me, but I love Logan too. Obviously, even though I had a problem with it
They
being
were both better than Wonder Woman.
goddamn. Don't let fucking Rotten Tomatoes hear that shit.
Dion, you know how we're gonna do our? Oh, by the way, I listened to the fan cast and they were telling me about what they're excited for with the channel. The second thing they're excited for is our series, The Problem With, like that we're gonna do.
Yes, dude.
We gotta we have to do Rotten Tomatoes. Like one of these nights, you and I have to sit down. And Nick, if you want to be a part of it, that's fine. I'm not trying.
No, man.
No,
It's fine, man. Yeah.
But we all need to get together and we need to write down a master list of the things we have problems with, and we need to do a thought-out 10-minute video on each topic, and just make it happen. Because Rotten Tomatoes and Chris Stuckman and all these other people, like, we need to just like really give it to them hard, not sexually, obviously, but we need to give it to them hard and like let people know like. This shit's ruining entertainment. That's the one thing we're on, like a crusade for better entertainment. No agendas and no stupid things. Just no more groupthink. Just give us quality entertainment. And maybe this video or this podcast would disappear when everything's good. You know, it's like at the end of Return of the Jedi. Once the Empire was defeated, the Rebel Alliance really wasn't needed because, contrary to what Episode 7 says, they beat the Empire. That shit's over.
Yes.
Yeah.
We want the happy ending. And, you know, you can take that as a hand job reference because Dion knows about 3,800 hand jobs right now.
Goddamn.
But dude, your arm's going to fall off. Or you're going to get AIDS from all the cum. You'll lose all that weight.
I was about to say, I'm going to lose some weight.
Yeah, or you'll be like that guy from Lady in the Water who's only, like, one time his body's, like, all buffed out and everything.
Don't you dare reference that movie, goddammit. You did not like that movie, Jeff. Don't you dare say that.
You know, I was about to say I loved that joke in Family Guy where Quagmire comes out with one buff arm. I've never seen Lady in the Water. I'm not a M. Night Shyamalan fan.
No one's an M. Night Shyamalan fan anymore.
Oh, Curtis Lendenfield is.
I probably like his first.
He also loves Evangeline. That doesn't mean every anime is fucking amazing. Come
Yeah. God, don't get me started on anime. But no, I mean, like, I love his first 3 movies, I think, and then that's it.
Sixth Sense and Unbreakable. Those are awesome.
Yeah, Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs, and that's it. Like after that, they kind of shit the bed. So.
Well, they're allergic to water. I'm watching the trailer for this Valerian movie. The trailer looks dumb. I'm oddly attracted to Cara Delevingne.
I
don't know why.
But like there are like three that I can remember off the top of my head, 3 major fucking plots in that movie. Like
I bet it's going to be 2.5 hours long.
It's more. I think it's supposed to be close to 3, isn't it?
I'll see if there's a runtime.
Yeah, look up the runtime. I thought because I want to say either Nick mentioned it before or we were talking about it before an episode, and someone was like, it's like almost 3 hours long. I'm just like. So they're partners in this galactic government. Something's coming to destroy the government, and then the two folks are like in love and shit. Like, what's all going on?
It's 2 hours and 17 minutes according to Google.
Okay,
all right, that's not too bad then.
But it's got a huge budget of 197 million euros.
Damn.
Wait, I can convert that. Hold on.
Like 150 US?
No, it's $222 million.
Damn.
Jeez.
Dude, if that movie flops, when it flops,
it just looks so cheesy because I think when you try to build a franchise off of something unknown, but it's a lot like another franchise, it feels like Kmart Star Wars.
Yeah, you get John Carter.
This looks like John Carter. And the funny thing is, John Carter is the thing that influenced Star Wars and a lot of other things. But it's just because it came first doesn't mean everyone knows it.
Right.
You know?
Right. Well, obviously, just because it's older doesn't mean that everyone's going to want to see it.
Yeah.
Very true.
It's a weird time for entertainment. This has been a weird week for entertainment. We've had a lot of news.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it, I don't know if it's good or bad. Like we're
in a weird. It's a weird time to be alive, dude. Like it really is, especially for entertainment. Like, there's this weird bubble, and everyone, like, people who care about pop culture, who pay attention and talk about it all the time, like us, folks like us. Obviously, our listeners are a huge part of that too. Like you've noticed, like, okay, do you have a plan next? Obviously, the last great change in pop culture, was Avengers, and like, what's the plan afterwards? You have films like John Wick that try and slide in and continue or do something different, but overall, studios are like, we got to give all this money to this one thing that we think's going to be good or do well, and it's like, what are you going to do when it doesn't do well? Like, what's going to happen to what we enjoy watching? It's fucking crazy.
If I was okay, Nick.
Well, and not just that. I mean, like, the budget for Valerium is what, 250 US. 222. Okay. One thing that is never accounted for in Box Office Mojo or any of these sites is always the marketing budget. And I remember reading for The Mummy, it was $100 million for The Mummy alone, which, I mean, that's something that's never accounted for, something that's never spoken of rarely until the movie flops, like, The Mummy or Ghostbusters. And, pumping, obviously making a movie like Valerium for 225 and then pumping, I guess, another maybe 100 million US or euros into it for marketing is ridiculous when you could have made it for a lot less if you just thought it the fuck through and, really worked on your budgeting skills and, probably not, when it does flop, it won't be that big then.
If I was a studio and I had like $1 billion annually to spend on film budgets, I would just try to make as many, not just shit movies, but like as many lower budget ones as I could.
I think shit movies is part of it, right? So I think the huge issue right now is we can't fail. So when
you're right. Like we put so much money into this, we have to succeed.
Yes, and even when it's bad, we can't fail. So you'll put more money into marketing it. So a great example, and I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but fuck that horse. Ghostbusters. No one who watched that movie or listened to that theme song or anything to do with that film would have been like, you know what? This movie's going to do well. No one would have said that. And yet Sony's like, no. They want to see all women in the thing, even though, we're going to pretend that we want to do equality, but it's just women, bro. Or we're going to pretend that we want to remake or come back out with a franchise that's shit comparatively. Or we want to remake a whole new era in science fiction, even though it's shittily written. Like, but it's shitty, but it has to do well. We're going to invest $100-something million in marketing the shit. And it's like,
yeah, and
why can't you just make a movie, market it a little bit, and then see if it does well? Like, even if you do a horrible, like some of the movies that are cult classics, like why I don't know, man. I guess what I'm saying is, why is not making billions of dollars in return a bad thing? Like, why isn't you just make a great movie that doesn't do well, becomes a cult classic? Why is that a bad thing?
Yeah. Well, why can't you just be like, all right, you say they make a movie and it's for a low amount of money and it does shit, but they don't lose money on it. They kind of break even. That's fine. You didn't lose money. That's a win. That's a fucking win. You can buy an extra Lamborghini next year for Christmas, but you're not gonna go hungry.
Right.
Like,
and shit like that is, we're not going to get a Dredd 2 because of shit like that. Like, Dredd was a great fucking movie. It's leagues ahead of Judge Dredd. I keep wanting to say Avi Arad, but the dude that did Dredd is a fucking weirdo. But Dredd was so awesome, and we're not going to get Carl Urban as Dredd because it didn't make 200 times his budget, and that bothers me. Like, why is and even if I did that movie, like, it's a cult classic, the people who watch it love it, and even if it finally broke even after DVD and Blu-ray sales, fuck it, let's make another good movie that doesn't do well, but we're remembered for making a good movie instead of making money, and it's just like shit like that fucking bothers me.
Look at Fight Club.
Yes.
Fight Club wasn't the biggest hit when it came out, but people still talk about Fight Club. 18 years later, they sold so much merchandise.
Oh my god,
based off
so
Fight
much
Club.
merchandise.
The posters, the Blu-ray, the DVD, the Laserdisc, all these things. Like Fight Club is the perfect example where you go out, you take a risk, and you make a ton of money on the back end. I'm so sorry that you didn't make $1 billion in the first weekend.
And also, not to interrupt, but I mean, there's another thing as well. Like, they did the graphic novel awards Fight Club 2. I haven't read it yet, and I want to. But I'll get into that once we're done with this about graphic novels and, like, sequels.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Fight Club's a perfect example. Like, it's even the following alone, like, pop culture references, and it's you can't make a bunch of money off of Brad Pitt and Edward Norton, but people, when they talk about their fucking filmography, they talk about your movie. Like, that's fucking crazy.
The movie had a budget of $63 million. It made $100 million.
Damn.
It's not like it was a fucking flop.
Yeah, man.
I'm just saying, it made money, and then it's made so much more on the back end. I personally would rather put effort into something. It basically makes all of its money back plus a little more, and then all of a sudden, I'm just making money constantly. Like Steven Spielberg. Here's something most people don't know. Steven Spielberg gets a check from Star Wars because he made a bet with George Lucas. He's made like $50 million off the first movie. He continually gets a check from Star Wars. He's not even involved with the fucking movie based on a bet. I would much rather have the long game locked down. Where I'm gonna get, even David Fincher that made Fight Club?
Yep.
Let's say he makes $1 million a year off a movie he made almost 20 years ago. That's fucking phenomenal. That's bigger than any payday he's gotten from any other movie. If that's the case, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is great, and I'm sure he's made other really great... I like David Fincher, actually. I know what he's made. Yeah. The point is, nothing's had the impact that Fight Club did.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm with you on the long game, and I mean, that's what you have to think is, like, rewatchability, DVD sales, T-shirts, whatever. Like, you have to think about that thing in the long run. It's like, do you want to be? I mean, you may have great. Your story may be okay. People are going to watch it just to get to like the next thing or whatever. But wouldn't you rather have rewatchability and people talking about it and people like, hey, talking about it at work or school or their jobs and be like, hey, man, I watched this really great movie. You should go check it out. This movie's awesome. Like, that's.
People in college want.
Yeah, and I mean that's what you want. You want that word of mouth. Word of mouth and attention is basically the new currency these days. If you can have that for anything you do, you fucking won. You've done it. That's it.
It's
So we're gonna see where everything goes. I mean, I don't know how to say it. I want good entertainment. I want to be able to go to the movie every week of every year and enjoy myself. But it's at a point where it's like there's not even anything I'm willing to take a chance on because it's all the same old shit. If I've seen one movie, I've seen this one. They don't put out anything truly awesome. And I'm not saying it has to be wholly original. I'm okay with book adaptations or continuations of old stories. But they don't do it right. They don't make anything rated R. They take away the teeth of a story like RoboCop. The RoboCop remake was neither good nor horrible. It just
was meh.
exists.
Yeah, it was meh, man. I mean, that's coming from someone.
It was more about the fucking politics of making RoboCop than it was about RoboCop.
And you know what? That was 3 years ago. We're never going to get
I mean, honestly, there were more boardroom shots than there were of shots of him in the fucking car in the suit. Like, that's what it was. It was dumb.
And I mean, they want to make these old franchises new again. So they're banking that people have seen these movies, and then the people they market towards haven't really seen the movie. Like 13-year-olds, we're going to get them to go see RoboCop. RoboCop's a hot franchise. No, RoboCop came out in 1987 when the kids you wanted were born in 1991.
And
or not even
all those movies are rated R as far as I know, correct?
Yeah, the dude who did fucking
RoboCop
episode.
has an X rating.
The dude who did goddamn Return of the Jedi did, or Empire Strikes Back did RoboCop 2. Like, that one wasn't as successful, but I fucking love
Dude, RoboCop
2.
RoboCop 2 is my favorite. Okay.
Yeah.
And here's why, because
I love
the end fight scene, like, this is something that doesn't happen a lot anymore, and I wish it would fucking happen more.
The epitome of that claymation effect.
Well, I mean, not even that. You have the end fight scene is longer than 5 fucking minutes for the good and the bad guy. That's one thing I hate about movies nowadays. The end fight scene for the good and bad guy is like 5-10 minutes. I think the end fight scene for RoboCop 2 was like almost 20 minutes long, and they beat the shit out of each other. I want a long ass ending battle like that. They don't do that shit anymore, and it pisses me off.
Well, you get, and even if they do have a elongated final fight, you know, it ends up like fucking Batman vs Superman. It ends up like fucking Transformers, where it's like, okay, you know, it's no actors, it's all special effects, it's all crazy shit on the screen, so you can't really see what's happening. You know, there's so much going
crazy.
On. You know. Yeah, it's like okay, well, you just want a spectacle. You don't want the culmination of a story, and it's like, what the fuck, you know? And even so, you know, we talk about Fight Club and Dread, like, you know, the ending of Fight Club, the climax of the movie, you know, holy shit, it's the same dude, and they're gonna blow up the fucking downtown, like, that's fucking crazy. You know, fucking Dread, it's like, okay, holy shit, the other judges are corrupt, and he's just gonna fucking kill everybody, and he throws the bitch out the fucking window, like that. It's not over the top, but you see it, and you're like, wow, this changed where I thought the movie was going to go.
Yeah, and I mean, and because even the fight for in RoboCop 2, I think is like the best end fight scene I'm going to say ever. I love it to death, and I mean, you know, it starts with him with a fucking 50 cal rifle shooting into the bad guy, into Kane.
Yeah.
And then it just goes from there, and it goes fucking crazy.
We talk about Batman '89, like him fighting the Joker at the top of the clock tower. It isn't fucking balls to the walls craziness. The Joker's dancing with Vicky, and he's fighting this giant black dude in a fucking leather jacket. Like, it's so cool. And then he beats the dude, and he's like, "Hey, you ever dance with the devil in the blue moonlight?" What? And he punches him in the mouth. Like, that's the ending of that movie, and it's awesome. God damn.
By the way, RoboCop 2 wasn't much of a flop.
No, it wasn't.
It had a budget of $14 million. It made 45. RoboCop 1 had a budget of $13 million, made 54. So I mean, it's still a big difference, but it's not enough to where it's like, well, RoboCop sucks.
Well, okay. Even I know for, you know, inflation and things like that, but even then, those movies are under $20 million. You can make something nowadays for probably double that, and still, you know, if you once again had a good story and really thought things out and did it correctly, you could make a movie like that for $30 million and be successful. You can do it.
You can, but they don't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, and once again, hate to harp on this movie, but like, once again, Get Out, $4.5 million budget, $150 million box office.
Jesus.
And I still haven't seen it.
I mean, that's whatever, but I'm just saying the numbers are there. Great story, minimal budget, and it made that much money.
God damn.
I think we're gonna eventually get to that point where everything.
They're gonna have to, man. They're gonna have to, because that bubble's gonna pop, man. It's gonna fucking pop.
And it's gonna pop hard, and I think people are gonna be it's going to be very, very wary for them to be like, all right, well, this Marvel's still going on with their shit. I don't want any part of this. Like, they're going to really be wary of that. And whenever a new movie comes out and they utter the word franchise, extended universe, or series, like, people are going to be like, nope, I don't want to do this again.
Yeah. Yeah.
DC bought themselves a little time with Wonder Woman's success, but
I don't think so, man.
You know,
they bought themselves.
I don't think so.
They bought themselves till Justice League.
Yeah, they bought themselves another 6 months.
Yeah, till Justice League, and then like we'll see how that goes.
Hollywood, if you're listening, or apologists, which I know you're listening for sure, your lack of criticism or lack of critical thinking towards anything that comes out is ruining entertainment for everyone, including yourselves. Because there's going to come a day when you realize that this vapid shit that you're into is A, not popular anymore, so B, you won't like it because you're only into what's popular, and you just invest your emotions into these movies that are shit, and then you can't handle like criticism. I'm not saying everyone needs to be into pretentious art fag movies like Sindaki, New York, but at least hold everything to a higher standard. Dion and I go on about Beverly Hills Cop at great length because that movie has so much depth.
Yeah, and the story is simple. The story is really like in its base. In the skeleton of the story, it's fucking simple. Guy is a cop in Detroit. His friend dies on his doorstep. He finds out his friend used to work in L.A. He goes to L.A. Done. Like, that's the story. And then obviously you have more detail than that. But I mean, that's the basis for the story.
That is the basis of the story, and where the movie separates itself from other movies is Eddie Murphy's performance. There are tons of great actors out there. If you gave them the impetus to make something that great, they could. If you had a movie that had a budget of say $30 million and you offered an actor a back end deal like, hey, we can pay you $2 million for this, but if this movie makes X, Y, and Z, you could make up to 10% or whatever.
Yeah, and obviously,
like Robert Downey Jr.
and obviously for something like that's that low, you at least have to have one good headliner. You have to have one, and everybody else can kind of be B and C actors, but you got to have at least like one guy who's like A-list.
Well, even then, like Jeff just said, Robert Downey Jr. That motherfucker had to have Mel Gibson front his insurance money to be an Iron Man. Like, you don't, like, he's well known enough. Like, you don't have to have even A. You could have some washout motherfucker who's trying to get his life together.
That's true.
And and even then, what was it, Jeff? Oh my God, my mind's racing right now. But to get him into fucking Marvel, they're like, okay, we'll give you, what was it, like 10% of the overall gross of the film. That's why they had to renegotiate his contract after Avengers, because he made $52 million fucking dollars. Like, that was a risk. They were like, okay, we're gonna risk it. I'm RDJ, and boom, you have one of the greatest fucking blockbusters of all time in the Avengers. Like,
and it's the greatest redemption story in history.
Boom, by fucking far. Like, they're like, okay,
of any field, the story of Robert Downey Jr. is the greatest redemption story.
Yes. Because they risked it. Like, and again, I'm not saying it's going to happen every time. There are going to be failures. But sometimes, it's okay to risk your next movie on Shia LaBeouf and it doesn't work out. Make sure the next movie's good. Like it's okay to not make the number 2 grossing movie of all time. Like, that's one reason I think Avatar is getting pushed down the road, because everyone's like, what, we can't keep doing this shit. We can't keep doing it.
Eventually, a movie's going to cost $1 billion, and if it doesn't make $5 billion,
I really don't want to see that day, because that's going to be a really weird day.
Well, the thing is, they're so focused on the burgeoning markets. Like, look at the WWE; they're so focused on India right now. There's an Indian WWE champion, and there's all these Indian themed things on TV, and their ratings are in the fucking toilet.
And the Indians don't give a fucking shit.
Yeah, because it's not about America being racist. It's the fact that the people that you're targeting don't watch your product. And just because you're all of a sudden like, hey, we're just like you, doesn't mean they're going to watch it. The shit that catches on across the world is cross-cultural. But look at Star Wars. Star Wars is not based on any one culture. It's influenced by Japanese cinema and this and that and the hero myth and all this stuff. But it appeals to everybody naturally. It's not a boardroom product. A dude sat on a typewriter in an apartment or a house. I don't know where George Lucas lived personally, but he sat there in his room and wrote that fucking script because it was a labor of love. And then the other ones were a continuation of that story. When it comes time to the Disney Star Wars movies, it's a product. There are test groups. There are the 4 quadrants, the young, old, male, female that they're concerned with. There are so many things. It's like Ivan Drago versus Rocky, okay? Rocky is old school. He trained out in the fucking woods. He climbed the mountain. He carried that tree and all that shit. Ivan Drago was trained in a gym. They tested his punches with that machine. They injected him with steroids. He was able to beat Apollo Creed, but really when it boiled down to it, the good old-fashioned, honest, hard-working Rocky was able to whoop his ass. That's what's going to happen with this. You're going to get something that's made with love and care, and it's going to take off, and it's going to take down any of this corporate bullshit, because people are smartening up to the point where it's like, well, I can see through this bullshit. It looks fake. It looks like a commercial product. I'm not going to go see it. And then they flop, and then it hurts everything. So, Hollywood, please, stop worrying about making 20 fucking sequels. Make one great movie. Let everyone get into it, and then just keep taking it on. Keep going forward with it. No more, hey, Spider-Man, there's 17 movies coming out in the next 5 years. Every other weekend you're going to go see Spider-Man. Hello, Marvel, I'm not going to go see it. You get one chance with me. If it sucks, it sucks. I won't see it.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's also the thing as well. We've gone over, you have Marvel movies that were 3 and 4 come out a year. When before you had comic movies coming out, once every 2, maybe 5 years. And that was fine. That was good. We needed that. We didn't need them coming out 3 and 4 times a year, because then it's just it's not good. I just don't care for it.
Well, the only reason I'll go to bat slightly for the Marvel movies is because the thing is, people use Marvel movies as a unifying term, but they're all about separate characters, and they sometimes come together. Yes, some of the stories have similarities, but overall they have a good story, and they're different.
Yeah, no.
The story is not like Doctor Strange and stuff. And that's why I think I'll always defend them a little bit and be like, well, I like the Marvel movies.
Yeah, well, I mean, to me, they're all they're all reaching to get to the end, and they're all adding, story to the bigger picture of, getting to Infinity War. To me, that's what it looks like to me, and it's just well, okay, good, another character, and I hate when they introduce another character, because okay, 2 more movies of this person. They're going to be, I assume there's going to be 2 more movies of Doctor Strange, 2 more movies of Black Panther, and whoever, and 2 more movies of Ant-Man, because that's just how Marvel does things.
There will not be 2 more Black Panther movies or Ant-Man movies, and I'm not saying that to argue with you, but everyone's hyped for Black Panther. That movie is going to make money, but it's not going to be Deadpool.
Nope.
True.
The character's not that
Iron
interesting.
Man.
He's only... Look, I'm not trying to belittle Chadwick Boseman's artistic abilities, but look, Black Panther exists in Marvel because they wanted a black superhero. He's fine, and I don't dislike him, but he really exists either with the Avengers or doing certain things in Wakanda. You can't tell an infinite amount of stories in Wakanda. That's just not going to sell.
No, because you're
and it's just not going to be
because you're cornering yourself to one part of the world. It's not. Yeah.
Well, only that, but the people who read comic books don't live in Africa. That's just
true.
They don't live near Wakanda. It's just we read about if you made a Spider-Man-esque character that happened to be black, that was from fucking Florida or whatever, that's fine. But Black Panther, the dude's from Wakanda, the black dude from Africa. I'm not from Africa, man. I don't buy Black Panther comic books. I just don't.
I don't. Most people don't.
Right.
Black Panther. For every internet channel that wants to say, "Oh my God, I'm so excited about Black Panther. He's such a pivotal character in the Marvel universe." Look, people, Black Panther's fine, but he's not Spider-Man. He's not Captain America. He's not an A-list
Would you say
character.
he's the Wonder Woman of the Marvel universe?
Not even. He's not even. Okay, look it.
Wonder Woman is at least known as the Big 3. Black Panther is the big top 50.
Dude. Most X-Men characters that appeared in the cartoon are ranked above Black Panther. Jubilee, Storm.
Oh, Jubilee.
Rogue,
ooh, I don't know about
Gambit.
that.
Oh, I would. I'd say more people. Prior to Civil War, more people would have known Jubilee because of the cartoon. Black Panther never had a cartoon. He was in the Avengers Assemble cartoon, but that cartoon wasn't the cultural landmark that X-Men the Animated Series was. Jubilee should have been in the fucking movie. It shouldn't have been Rogue instead of Anna Paquin. It should have been some little Asian girl. And that should have been the connection that Wolverine had with, one of the human characters. But that's neither here nor there. But Black Panther, I'm going to guess, even though we're so many months away, but it seems to be such an important topic on our channel for some fucking reason, I'm going to guess it's going to have a $75 million opening weekend, and it's going to have a decent word of mouth, but it's going to be promoted on the narrative that it's Black History Month and it's Black superhero, and that's going to bother me because it needs to be graded on if it's a good movie.
It should bother you. It really should. I mean, it's just like
because remember, Dion, we're both white racists from the South. So
I keep forgetting we hate black people. We hate black.
And the funny thing is that I'm from the South.
Well, you're white too, Nick, because according to Brian Leap, we didn't swallow any Ebonics dictionary.
Yeah, because of course I'm white, and then I have a big truck with a rebel flag on the end of it, and I go driving around scaring black folks.
America.
Yeah. Trump's America.
I think we've had a really solid show. I was worried we weren't going to get into anything deep tonight, but I think we had many deep cuts. Like I saw Bone for a minute. This was a solid ass episode.
Dude, we went down the rabbit hole and we made that rabbit our bitch.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I did the math on the $1 billion thing. You said if you had $1 billion and you'd make so many movies. If you had $1 billion and you took 20 million and you made 20 million, you just took $20 million to make movies. You'd have 50 movies roughly.
I could have a movie come out every year.
Yeah,
every year.
Basically, have a movie come out every weekend, and you'd be fine.
God damn, man! Could you imagine if there was a studio that like gave a shit, but instead of making one monster movie, they just made a bunch of really good movies?
That used to be every studio.
God damn!
I'm not.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not the richest man in the world, but I'll pay to go see a good movie. Like I'm always there opening weekend if I'm interested. I fucking love movies. Entertainment. If I didn't like entertainment, this podcast wouldn't exist. We'd all be friends, but this podcast wouldn't be a thing.
True.
Yeah.
I would have known Nick through conventions because I like to draw, and Dion and I went to college together, but there would be no world-class bullshitters if any of us didn't give a shit.
Right.
I mean, we take it seriously. I don't think we overestimate or over-exaggerate the importance of good entertainment because it really does influence the world.
No, and I mean, look at what we watched. We watched, the older movies that where people like gave a shit and told a good story. That's what I think mainly we watch a lot of.
And those old movies can look at. My cousin came over with her 11-year-old daughter on Saturday because we're over at my grandma's still. I had Back to the Future on. Like, that kid had never even seen Back to the Future, and I told her the premise of a time-traveling car. She thought it was dumb, but then she got invested in the story because she started looking at it, and she couldn't look away.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
That's the power of a good movie.
That's amazing.
And in Hollywood, you could just put out the same movie. I'll tell you this, and I'm not. If you put out Back to the Future every 5 years in cinemas, I'd see it every time. It's an event. You get to experience it with other people that love the movie. Put out the original Star Wars, I'll go see it. Beverly Hills Cop, any of these movies that I like, even smaller ones like Detroit Rock City, I'd pay $10 to go see it again. Just put out something I'm going to enjoy. I want to go and experience it with people. I don't want to go to a theater like I did for It Comes at Night and leave pissed off.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what I've been watching. Luckily I live in Atlanta, and I can watch. There's been older movies that have been showing nearby. Like I went to watch Predator a couple weeks ago, and I was like, man, I get to get drunk, eat a burger, and watch Predator. This is amazing.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, I had I had a mango margarita that the girl was like, "Do you want another shot?" I'm like, "Of course I do." And then I had my Kong burger, and I watched Predator. It was amazing.
Well, I think this is a good point to put this baby to bed, because like I said, we had a really deep conversation tonight. So let's do some fan mail, or fan interactions, if you will, because no one actually mails anything to us. Now, Dion, I wanted to bring this up before we get into fan mail, because I want you to go on a rant for a quick second.
Okay.
So, a couple of months ago, I made a video about Episode 7, surprise, surprise, and this commenter just commented this a few minutes ago. I still can't believe people call Anakin's lightsaber Luke's. Watch the movies. The blue one was Anakin's. His father trained with it until he lost it and created his own, a.k.a. Luke's lightsaber.
You know what? Okay. Is there anything else?
That's it. There's other comments I'm going to read tonight, but don't worry.
So I want you to read that one more time for me, so people understand what he's saying.
I still can't believe people call Anakin's lightsaber Luke's. Watch the movies. The blue one was Anakin's, and Luke trained with it until he lost it and created his own, aka Luke's lightsaber.
Okay, so clearly you didn't watch the fucking movies. Okay, now if you want to go at it with a goddamn wooden hatchet, so technically it's Anakin's because he made it, and we see it in episode 2, and then he fucking loses it, and then Luke makes his new one before the beginning. But so say, yeah, sure. But I can fucking sit here and look at you and say, oh well, technically, that's not Obi-Wan. That's young Obi-Wan, and then the old dude, that's a whole different Obi-Wan. It's a fucking new guy that played it, so it's not the same Obi-Wan character. It's a new Obi-Wan character. I can say the same goddamn shit and technically be right. But again, people would look at me and say, you know what, Dion, you're a fucking idiot. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. Now, clearly...
So the Millennium Falcon is not Han Solo's ship, right? It's just Lando's.
It's just Lando's. Yeah, technically it's whoever fucking owned it before him, Hoomba Badubada from goddamn Celeste. It's not technically either of theirs, because technically you're right. Right? Because that doesn't make any goddamn sense. No, they look at me and Jeff and say, you know what, you two are fucking idiots. Don't talk to me. That's what they would say.
Yeah, this guy's just ruining entertainment. Like
this is
like this,
technically he's the problem.
Technically, you're a goddamn idiot. Get out of here, Taggart. Like, just fuck off. Anyway, let's get to some real comments. So this comes from True02 Baller, who's a regular listener. Hey Jeff, what did you think of Danny Elfman's score for the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies? Personally, I liked what he did. Personally, I loved it. So. Also, speaking of Danny Elfman, this comes from Mateo Di Seta. At World Class Bullshitters, Danny Elfman ruined it all. If it wasn't for him, The Simpsons wouldn't be so popular as of now. Okay, first off, Mateo, when you tag World Class Bullshitters, you tag me personally. I didn't say I disliked Danny. I almost called him Randy Orton. Danny Elfman. So I'm not trying to nitpick here, but like,
hey, there's nothing you can say.
Say. I love that fucking song.
I did too.
Now, real quick for our Patreon listeners. Kendo Slice and Justin B6699. Your questions, I want to read them, but without Curtis or Dustin here, we can't ask the wrestling-based questions because Nick doesn't know, and I feel like you're going to get screwed over. So if you guys want to shoot me another personal question, I'll read 2 for you next week for the topics. Kendo, I got yours too about the Lord of the Flies thing, but I think you'll be more entertained if Curtis is here because he'll get really fucking weird with it, and I know you want to have a good laugh. So I could read them, and if you want, we can make a special video for you. But if you want the most out of it, I'll read 2 of them for you next week to make up for it. I'm not ignoring our patrons. I feel like without him being here, it's just going to lack the impact, and you'd want, the most bang for your buck. So we'll give you double the pleasure next week. Matt Allen, we've got all these celebs dying, and yet Justin Bieber isn't one of them. Where's justice in the world?
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. He's got a coke habit. It's coming. It's coming.
Let's see. Comments from Christopher Littleton. To the Dick Cave, Curtis. Here's a snarky comment that no one gave a thumbs up to from Dylan Olenheimer. Oh, excuse me. Dylan Olenmiller. You guys are a few days late with this Adam West news. Well, buddy, he died after we recorded last week's show, and we record once a week, so sorry, but you still watch the video.
Hey, buddy, I'm still a little late in telling you that your mom's disappointed in you, but she's still disappointed in you, so there's nothing we can really do about it.
Andrew Hart gets a high five because he's on the lookout for that Jim Lee Cyclops figure for me, so thank you, sir. Bo Singer, Adam West Batman is definitely dated, but I really believe that if it wasn't for how popular he made the character and how successful the show was, that we might not have the other interpretations of Batman as we know them. He basically goes on to say, Christian Bale's his personal favorite. I appreciate everything you guys do. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Bo.
Fuck yeah.
That was a pretty nice comment, actually.
It was.
Andrew Hart says Superman 64 is one of the worst fucking games ever. Yes, it is. Angel Feliciano. Adam West was the best Batman ever. Hey, he was. I really. If you say he's your favorite, that's fine. I can't really shit on him. The guy was.
I got respect for him because he was the first. I don't know about the best.
Bald Mad Mac. Yay, new episode. Well, Bald Mad Mac, you're on this new episode too, so I hope you're equally excited. Liquid Metal Pro. No one messes with Adam Wee. So we got him an email address, worldclassbs@mail.com, which is the best mail.
Get Cam.
And I'm going to check it out to see if we got any emails from our dedicated fans, because we don't want to leave anyone out. Basically, if you go out of your way to contact World Class Bullshitters, we're going to give you a thumbs up and talk to you right back. Good or bad. So be prepared. Augs for President liked one of our tweets. I wonder which one it was. Also, Nick Junker liked one of our tweets.
Yeah, it's probably one of the ones I sent out this morning.
Yeah, let's see. Jack Burton 2020. Jack Burton is my father. Yeah, I would. You know what? I would like this if I saw it on Twitter. Good job, Nick.
You're welcome.
Brian Late mentioned us in a conversation on Twitter. We got a lot of Twitter reports because we have a really good social media manager. So thank you,
You're
Nick.
Welcome.
Yeah, no real emails this week. Just a lot of shit from Twitter. Like I said, that's cool. Goop.com has emailed us today, I believe, with an email titled "Tripping." I'd like to trip into Gwyneth Paltrow's face with my fist.
Please tell me that they mentioned the stickers.
They talk about HDMA and other psychedelics, how they could change therapy.
Okay.
Whatever.
Of course.
And then Tracy Anderson on how to lose weight fast.
Fuck you, Tracy.
3 probiotic-packed breakfast ideas.
Oh, okay.
Okay, do you guys want to take the female satisfaction survey?
Oh,
Short,
fuck
satisfying,
yeah.
completely anonymous.
Let's do it.
Okay, we're going to take this. This just got good. Alright, we're redirecting, because I'll admit mail.com is not the best mail.com. It's a very shitty, slow service, but I didn't need to provide a phone number, so I used it. There's the secret to world-class bullshitters. I didn't have to give a... Okay, what's your age? Well, we're all between 26 and 35. What gender do you identify as? There is an option to self-describe. What should we call ourselves? Apache helicopter?
Yes,
or what?
go Apache helicopter.
I say scorpion head killer.
Oh. Hydra? Maybe? Like
Hail Hydra.
Well, not like that Hydra, but like a actual Hydra.
Oh, wow.
I just put down Darth Vader as our gender.
Dark and with a helmet?
Which race or ethnicity best describes you? Well,
let's go coffee with a little bit of milk.
I'm typing this in as I speak. So basically me, okay. What is your income? Well, we're going to combine everyone's income, so we're over $20,000.
Sure, we'll go with that. We'll go with that.
Yeah. We'll go 25 to 49.
That's a big margin. Jeez.
Yeah. Double to double. All right, next. Do you work outside the home?
Yes.
No,
I guess.
We'll just say yeah, because I'm not 100% focused on my kids. Do you work for yourself? Yes.
Yeah.
What industry are you in?
Bullshit?
You have to pick a topic. We are in telecommunications technology and internet electronics.
I'm okay with
Are you
that.
satisfied with the career you're in? Yes. Tell us more. I love...
My job.
How do you spell Gwyneth? G-W-E-Y-N-E-T-A. Gwyneth's Bush.
Gwyneth's Bush.
Yeah. Do you feel like you have enough room in your life for active and fulfilling friendships? Yes, I have many wonderful friends. Do you have any children, or are you pregnant? We have children. D2 is part of this podcast.
Agreed.
The child we've never had, Nick, is D2.
The product of our loins.
How many kids do you have? Well, do we count the McNeese dozen?
McNeese doesn't.
Praxis, Daxis,
So he has.
arthritis, and Jackson.
Malaxis.
We're just gonna put 5 down. How old are they?
Old motherfucker.
0 to
Soul
23.
eyes.
Let's see. There's 1, 2, 1, 1. Are you finished having kids? No, because I'm going to have some. How old were you when you had your first kid? 18 to 25. Are you satisfied with your relationship with your kids? No. No, other. Please satisfy. What should I say? Or please share.
Wish they could.
My kids are disappointments because they can't run a
their
fast
hands
mile.
are always
Or
for
wish
some
they could
reason.
speak. I wish they could speak.
I wish they could speak.
Wow, okay, I made this kind of dark. I said, I wish they could speak and understand me when I tell them how disappointed I am in them.
Ah.
Damn, alright.
Do you feel like you had your kids at the right time in your life? No.
Hell no.
No, I still got fucking to do.
Let's talk about love and sex. Do you ever feel like your life isn't yours anymore? Yes. I feel like it has been snubbed by my career and family.
Marvel's taking it over.
Yeah, fuck you. Goddamn Lucasfilm's ruining my sex life. Kathleen Kennedy, you whore! What is your stress level typically like? I feel overwhelmingly stressed.
Because Kathleen Kennedy's a fucking cunt.
Yes, goddamn. Every day, all I can think about is how much I hate that woman. Do you ever feel bored with your life?
I feel like Jeff has her on a dartboard that he like shoots at like every morning. Like, the first thing he does, got out of bed, shoots a dart at her face.
What I've actually done is I've lacquered her picture to my floor and I ejaculated onto it and just smear it on her fucking face.
You liked it? You liked it?
Oh, I don't make eye contact with her because she really startled me. But what I should actually do is get a new toilet and like fucking glue her face into a bowl so when I shit, it's just shitting on Kathleen Kennedy every time.
That works.
What's your relationship? Married. I should say widowed, but that'd be really dark.
Can you say open can you say open with options?
It was married, single, or widowed. There are more options for a gender, which there's only 2 of, than your options for being married.
That's
But
weird.
whatever.
Okay.
How long have you been together? 6 to 10 years.
Sure.
How do you characterize your relationship? Primarily monogamous, though there have been indiscretions.
Well, no, you categorize your relationship as attack helicopter.
I wish I could type that in. I'm just going for our other party because I know Dion's a good guy. Let's see. Who in the relationship had the indiscretion?
Oh wow, they're really going
Damn,
deep.
they're
aren't they?
really
Shit.
going for it. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Have you been able to move past
The
this?
dog had the indiscretion. I don't know.
I am struggling to overcome the... I have trouble trusting my partner.
Sure.
God, this is way more boring than I thought it would be. It's so fucking long. Are you satisfied with the frequency of sex in your life? No. Everyone should have more sex.
Yes.
Are you satisfied with the quality of your sex life? No.
Everyone should have more better sex.
How often do you orgasm with your partner? Rarely. Do you wish you orgasmed more? Yes. How many times did you have sex in the past month? 1 time. Let's put that down. Do you believe you have sex more or less than your peers?
Less?
Less. I don't know. I'm just trying to make this humorous. Oh, we're done.
Oh, well, that was okay. That was a little less painful than I thought it was going to
Jesus
be.
Christ.
Thank you so much for your time. As always, your survey results are anonymous. Of course they're anonymous, but who the fuck else put their gender as Darth Vader, bitch?
So are they gonna email you in a month with like answers and like things you can do? That's dumb.
I hope
That's
so.
dumb.
Help. Letters from the dark side. How one Sith Lord overcame the indiscretions of his wife after he choked her to death on a fucking volcanic planet.
I want to be a fly on the wall for that therapy session.
All right, so this has been episode 77 of World Class Bullshitters. Every Thursday night we take a dump on the world of pop culture. Some nights are more substantial, like tonight. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you really like this channel, make sure you subscribe and you head on over to Patreon to help support the show. We're growing slowly. We need your support. We need to get new equipment. We want to make videos. We want to do everything within our power to make World Class Bullshitters a household name, and we can only do it with your help, and we will acknowledge you all along the way. So even if it's just $1 a month and all you do is get the special shout out, thank you. Also, I'm throwing around an idea for a fan appreciation episode where I'm going to get all the patrons and some of the guys that have really helped this channel along the way on a special episode of World Class Bullshitters. So, just do your part, and you can be a part of that too. We're also over on Twitter, World Class BS. Nick runs it. He does a great job, so if you're ever trying to get in contact with us through Twitter, you will get a response thanks to Nick. We're also over on Facebook. We have 2 Facebook pages. We have a World Class Bullshitters page, and we also have the official World Class Bullshitters fan club page. That is where you can contact all of us personally, have conversations. We have a lot of great one-on-one interactions with some of the guys like Eddie. He's always giving us cool little tidbits of information, and he helps make this show a lot easier. So a special thank you to him. Coming up in July, this Spider-Man month, July 1st, the Spider-Man 1 commentary drops. Then the Spider-Man 2, 3, and a bunch of other videos. I've been working diligently all week, so you guys are going to see some really cool shit related to Spider-Man. And like I've said and demonstrated multiple times through this video, I love the character, so you're going to get some deep cuts with Spider-Man. We also released some videos in the past week about the Han Solo movie, and we're still getting comments over the Black Panther shit. So if you'd like to hear our most controversial topics, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Next week I'll be back with more content, so that'll be cool. I got a couple ideas I'm playing around with. And do you guys have anything else you'd like to add?
I think you're talking about trying to do a webcomic. If people are interested, they should reach out to us.
Oh, yeah, that wouldn't launch till next year, but if you guys want a World Class Bullshitters webcomic, let me know. We'll play around with ideas. I'll draw some shit up. It'll come out.
Yeah, definitely let us know if you want that to happen or not. In the comments, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, just let us know you want it so we can make it the best possible webcomic it can be.
I'll just be honest. I need at least 100 confirmations from fans.
That's a good way to engage that. Yeah, 100 confirmations anywhere really will do.
Yeah, you can contact us anywhere, but just let us know through something, and we'll keep track if we get 100 or not. Because drawing a comic takes a long time, and there's very little payoff. Because for me, I would write it. Well, I would write it with the guys, but we would write it, then I would draw it, then I would ink it, and then letter it. And it would be in black and white because I'm not going to color.
No, there's no need to go to the extra trouble of that.
Yeah, I hate the color. My point is, though, guys, if we get enough interest, yes, it'll happen. And it'll be fun, and you guys can come up with ideas for stories, and it could be a really interactive thing, and we can keep, comic book-based entertainment alive, and it doesn't have to be superheroes. But we do have a superhero I've worked with, so you'll see him first. So, is that it for you guys? Is that the episode?
Yeah.
All right, it's been a good episode. I've been your host, Jeff Hicks. I guess Dion is asleep.
I've been your listening. Okay, there he is.
Damn fucking connection is pissing me off. God damn it.
It's okay. We'll forgive you. Say goodbye there, Dion.
Oh, well, I am the man with the plan and the original Tan. Go watch a good movie.
And I'm the Lessing Simone with a slightly lighter tan saying, have a good day.
We'll be back next week with another episode. If you got any ideas, tell us in the comments section. Hopefully, the world of entertainment is going to keep burning down the way it does.